This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And we're here with you from the Virginia Beach Sportsplex. Come on out today. It's the Neptune Bowl at 757 Saturday Sports Talk with all of you today. Matt Hatfield alongside the coach Ed Young as we talk to you about everything happening in the world of sports. It's windy, it's cold, but we're bundled up and we're ready to roll with you, talking all things sports, local, high school, college, pro with you all today. Good morning, sir. How was your Friday night? It's been very blustery out here in the 757, very cold, and we are ready for all things sports, including the Neptune Bowl today. Should be a fun day here at the Plex.
This is going to be different. Our first time outside. We're in the elements. Thank God the elements include only cold, brisky wind blowing out here, not the rain, definitely not snow. None from that Thursday night game in Cleveland where the Steelers and Browns had a snowball fight. So just a little different.
You had the Steelers in that one, didn't you?
I had the Steelers in that one, but I kind of knew the Browns would play perhaps their best game of the year, which I think was among it because they haven't had many to begin with.
Indeed.
They get up with the Steelers for that. Steelers.
By the way, best wishes to our guy Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah on his road to recovery from that injury he had. That was
I miss not seeing him play. I mean, if there's
too.
any reason to watch Cleveland for me, it would be strictly him.
Yes,
and
former Notre Dame guy as well,
yeah,
in addition to his Bethel High days on the gridiron and hardwood.
And it's a kid that I coached against, so it'd be kind of neat to watch him at the professional level. Coached against him, of course, in high school basketball, where he held his own very much also. But it is different. Come on out today, later on, 2 o'clock, the Neptune Bowl.
You didn't bring any gloves. See, I got the gloves, ladies and gents. I got the Cardinal black glove and the Cardinal red glove. I don't need to have the gloves match. As long as you got the right team, you're in good shape.
You're the glove man. I have some Celtic gloves somewhere. I think I have one left. I think the dog buried the other one in the backyard, so I don't know where it's at.
That daggone dog.
Yeah, he was getting back at me for something. But, you mentioned we're doing the Neptune Bowl live today, 2 o'clock start.
Yeah, check it out on CoVA Sports TV. We've got the action for you. We'll be doing play-by-play in color. Our man Jack Lowe on the sideline. It should be a lot of fun. Two teams that are 5-5. A lot of local talent on the roster, which we'll go over. You'll hear some sound from both of the coaches before that game. We've also got some high school football sound from last night's playoff games, including Maury's rousing win over Warwick. They're back to the region championship. There was a double overtime game here in the Beach, as the Beach is down to 2 teams still alive. Both will be playing for a Region 5A title next week with Salem Green Run. We'll go through the picks. College football today, not just here at the Plex. We got the Neptune Bowl, but Big Ten action people are looking forward to. Ohio State, taking on the Hoosiers of Indiana with Google Me, Kurt Signetti and company. And they've got a guy going to Indiana next year in LeBron Bond from Maury, wide receiver. I think he made a pretty good choice. We were wondering about it in the spring when he did it, but I think he knew what he was doing.
You know, Indiana's basically come out of nowhere for this year. A team that a lot of people are disrespecting. They don't feel their schedule's that strong, and they're not playing the powers of the Big Ten. But you know what? They've beaten everybody put before them, so you got to give them some credit. I just got to believe today, in my mind, it's Ohio State by 2-3 touchdowns.
Do you?
But I'm underestimating Indiana until they show me otherwise. Beat Ohio State, then I'll jump on that bandwagon too. Signetti has done a really good job. He came from JMU, brought some players from JMU who have been impactful at the University of Indiana, and now he is on a lot of recruits' radar to come there, because could they become the next power in the Big Ten? Behind, of course, Ohio State and Michigan, longtime powers, and now you got to throw Oregon in there, and maybe someday you see Southern Cal will come back, because don't forget all those West Coast teams are in the Big Ten. So that'll be probably the big game in college football today. There's some other ones, but that'd be the big one.
And we say hello to Dan Malloy, Woodrow Wagner out there, Super E out there, Super Eric Rogers. Yeah, he's good talking with you at ODU earlier this week. Yeah, Ed snuck in the back door. I don't know how they let him into the men's game against Randolph-Macon. I was filling in for Tel Alexander on the call with Dennis Wolf on that.
I used Eric's name.
Oh, okay.
They let me in.
All right.
It was no problem. They said I looked a little different. I said, yeah, I'm under the weather.
Oh, you look different, all right.
Yeah, but I snuck in there and got to watch the game on the baseline side and talk with E on some basketball stuff too. So
he's happy his Hoyas are doing a little bit better. Jay Neps, by the way, representing the 757. I bet you enjoy watching Jay Neps now as opposed to coaching against him, don't you?
Man, all I can see is him shooting another.
Did he have 52 on you or something like that? He killed you.
He didn't have 52.
It was close. Was it 48? He had a lot.
The crazy thing about that is he hit his fourth three we took a timeout, and one of my kids came over and said, "Hey, coach, that kid is hitting a lot of threes." I looked at him. I wanted to say what I'm not allowed to say, but I said to the kid, "No question. And by the way, he's your cover.
Yeah.
So introduce yourself to him so we can get a stop on that kid."
Yeah.
But a tremendous talent. Of course, he started his college career at Illinois, switched over to Georgetown, which I think is a better.
Illinois or Illinois? Where do you put the noise on it? There's no noise.
It's a northern talk.
Yeah, all right. There's no noise in Illinois.
There's a lot of noise in Illinois. They create a lot of
Illinois. You probably say Missouri instead of Missouri, don't you?
No, Missouri.
Okay, you got that one right. At least.
Missouri,
And Louisville, not Louisville.
I like to say Louisville.
It's not Louis.
I like
it's not Louis. It's not a Louis Vuitton bag.
All
it's
right.
Louisville.
Show me in the Bible.
Tom Jackson went there, and he always said from Louisville. If you watch Prime Time with him and Chris Berman, the Swami.
Matter.
It does matter.
Question of the day: to Howard. Use Louisville or Louisville?
It's not Louis. Louisville. It's like people butcher Norfolk all the time, which that's another story for another time. Good morning to Howard out there. Yes, Woodrow wanted to know too. I see on the comments, who does Green Run play next week? They'll be hosting Salem next week on Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. Get on out there. Should be a lot of fun. You got that matchup. We'll go through all the matchups coming up.
No.
What is
Woody is a veteran listener. Woody, wait till we get to playoffs. We're going to give you everything. You want to hurry up and get what you want so you can take off and drop out of our
No, he's not going to do that.
Don't do that. We'll give you all the things, some pretty good scores I'm waiting for because I did some good picking last night.
You did some bad picking too.
I beat this knucklehead in a couple ones.
Nah, but you lost to me on more than a couple.
Hey, we got to turn that sun down a little bit because the sun is starting to come up. Can we move the sun to the right?
Doesn't
get
work
it out
that
of the way. That's all we need.
You're a picky guy. You know that?
I cannot work.
I think you'd still be coaching somewhere if you weren't so picky. Hey, look who else is tuning in. Our former producer extraordinaire, AJ Risser. And your Ravens are going to win, AJ. You heard it here first. Oh, now we're getting a big blare from that. Sun is bright. You're not kidding. They're going to beat
always going to be
the
bright.
Ravens. You hear it. We haven't done a pick yet. NFL guarantee pick. They're beating the other hardball in the hardball bowl on Monday. I'm guaranteeing it. I don't know if it'll be one of my picks, which my picks are lousy this year, AJ.
There's a rumor.
I need you and Dino back because my picks have stunk to high heaven this year. But thankfully, I'm not going to take off my clothes because that'd be bad for the view, number one. And number two, but I'll show you under the sweatshirt, folks.
No,
I'm repping. I'm going to show. I'm repping EJ Manuel and the Bills, ladies and gents. Bills Mafia got it done for me. I avoided an 0-3 week thanks to their win over the Chiefs.
And I think I was
and Patrick Mahomes and Derek Nottie and company and Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift.
Okay. Let's make sure we tell them I went 3-0 for the third time this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, so every once in a while, a blind squirrel finds a nut. It does happen, including Ed Young. So
that's why we got a lot of squirrels coming onto his side of the table right now.
Hey, Jamie Frazier tuning in says we have a great show. We like him. Former Deep Creek assistant football coach David Cox, Purple Thunder. Coach, it was a tough night for Andre Twine and the Hornets. I'm blaming Ed as the jinx because Coach Twine came on after the win last week. Things were great. He picked them to beat Salem. Coach Twine said, don't do that. It's the worst thing ever. And it was the worst thing ever because they were up early and then they got steamrolled from there. So we're blaming Ed for that.
I felt good with the
Deep Creek fans and alums. It's all Ed's fault. It is not my fault. It's all Ed's fault. He should never have picked them. Bad things happen when you pick people.
I don't mind getting blamed for a loss as long as
that sun is bright. It is bright as it can be.
See, this is what I'm dealing with. He says the sun is bright. Somebody out there tell me when the sun is never bright. I'm not talking about a clouds over it. I'm just saying the sun in itself. This is why this guy spent 4 years in third grade.
No, it's just 2.5. Let's get to what is happening in the world of sports on the high school front. We're going to show the brackets for you out there too, folks. Brackets? Yeah, we got brackets. We love to do this on the show so you can see them visually. I've gotten some good feedback on it. We did it on the hash with Hatfield. We did it on some other things so they can actually watch the brackets as we interact with you about what transpired on Friday night. And there it is popping up on the screen. We got to zoom in, though, so we get a better view for you. And we'll give you a little music background jingle, too, as we zoom into Region 6A, where we'll start things off from top to bottom, right? You go from Class 6 down to Class 1, and we will get you set up with that, Ed. Your quick reaction as we see in that bracket there, the Oscar Smith Tigers all over Manchester 35-0. Lonnie Andrews III found Travis Johnson on a big play, but more than just the offense and the running game with Brandon Nesbitt, Tajay Curtis, that Oscar Smith defense is really locking people down. 2 straight shutouts in the playoffs here. Is it? I'm going to ask you a really tough question here. I'm going to get the Maury fans, the Phoebus fans, a lot of fans out there upset. Is the Oscar Smith defense the best around in the 757? And I dare say, is it the best in the entire state right now?
My quick reaction and answer to that, no. They have a famed defense. With their history, they've been tremendous in defense, but they're also known for their scoring. They're very good on both sides of the ball. When I'm thinking defense, and you want to talk about best defense overall in the 7-5-7, my quick reaction again, I'm going to go Phoebus.
Okay.
Lately, Warwick. Maury's defense is underrated because we look so much at their 70 points a game against district competition during the season. But Oscar Smith, when you shut out people this late in the playoffs,
sure,
you are pretty damn good, because these teams don't get here, messing up, not being able to score. I thought it was a closer game. I had Oscar Smith winning, but I thought it would be closer. And that 35-0 is a statement score as far as I'm concerned. But there are going to be some other games coming up that we're going to see.
You like to say special teams as a factor. Not only did you have the 40-yard touchdown catch from Travis Johnson via Lonnie Andrews III, touchdown run from Brandon Nesbitt, touchdown run from Tajay Curtis, touchdown pass to Alvin Trey Jones, who's going to Buffalo. You had a 64-yard punt return to the house by Jamari Deloach, the Cincinnati commit, future Bearcat. So special teams having an effect. We'll get to how that also impacted the Maury game coming up here. Also in Class 6 Region A, Highland Springs, Glen Allen, what a job Malik Sexton has done. He took over for Perry Jones, the former Oscar Smith standout, running back, linebacker who went on to UVA, now an assistant coach at William & Mary. You see the cars behind us. This is so neat with the sun glaring at us. Glen Allen's coach, Malik Sexton, who used to play at Churchland, Virginia State, got this team in position to maybe pull the upset, if you want to call it that, a 3 beating a 2, maybe not so much, but Highland Springs, known for its tradition and its championship runs under Lauren Johnson, 23-20, they fall to the Springers, gave them a heck of a battle. So while we will preview Oscar Smith Highland Springs coming up, a salute to Glen Allen. What a year they had, 10-2. They only lost twice to Verona and Highland Springs. No shame in that. They beat Thomas Dale, and Coach Sexton carried it on from what Perry Jones established.
I've been saying all year, every week we come on, I kept thinking, why don't we talk more about Glen Allen? I thought, they're ground and pound type game, smashing the mouth type game. They're in every ball game. And they lost to two powerhouses who I think are still, Highland Springs we know is still in it. Pretty sure Verona's still in it too.
Yep.
We're going to see that coming up. So here's a team that I don't think was given enough notice, enough eyeballs on them. And they're a tremendous team. I think next year we will be talking a heck of a lot more about them. They got a lot of their key guys coming back. And then you never know what the transport portal can send out for some people. So Glen Allen, you're right. There's a great job to them out there, and nothing to be ashamed of. And when you lose to two teams like you lost to, you had a hell of a season.
Absolutely did. It's 757 Saturday Sports Talk, broadcasting live this morning from the Plex in Virginia Beach. Let's go to Region 6B before we take a time out here in just a moment, Ed. Battlefield gets knocked off by Patriot, 10-7. Pioneers missing half of its starting lineup. They've been missing some guys for a few weeks now. Battlefield just beat them late in the regular season. I think it was like 26-7. They had won 7 in a row in the series. And the Bobcats, under the direction of Coach Greg Hatfield, go out in round number 2, despite not giving up more than 10 points in any game this year. It's going to be the 5-seed Patriot taking on the 6-seed Colonial Forge. They've got an assistant on that staff. It's a VHSL Hall of Famer in Bill Brown, his son John Brown, the head man. And they've also got Coach Mangano, whose son Jake's a key lineman. Colonial Forge has got a history of producing in the playoffs. They haven't gotten to the big game yet, the state championship, but now they're a 6-seed taking on a 5-seed in Patriot. How stunned are you by this matchup? I'm pretty surprised.
Yeah, when you look at playoffs, we're always thinking 1 seed, 2 seed, possibly a 3, maybe a 4 sneaks in. We pretty much after 4, we're not going to talk about that team at all. Well, now we're going to talk about it. And again, well-deserved for both these teams to be this far. Again, this far into the playoffs and you win. Yeah, we can say that some teams are lucky, but you need luck all year round to win games. It's not just about skill. You need a lot of things going your way. But to me, when you look at this situation, you got two powerhouses, Smith, Highland Springs matching up, higher seeds.
Are you going to say what I said last night? I think you are.
It's going to lean its way. And then we look at this. You're going to have a host of fans saying Smith, Highland Springs, that's a state championship game. And we're going to overlook these two teams, which may still give some people some headaches. Somebody's going to win this game right here, obviously, coming up.
Sure.
And then what are they going to do in the next round?
They'll have to go to either Island Springs or Oscar Smith. So it does feel like that's a state semifinal game. You're right. And Patriot and Colonial Forge, hats off to both, because it feels like they're playing, to use an old expression, house money, both of them, that they've gotten this far, not expected to do so. And really a big hats off to Sean Finnerty and company. I did not think they had much of a chance whatsoever. Jackson McCarter's not in the lineup, but Matthew Cano is a linebacker who is a monster for them. Junior is getting a ton of recruiting attention. He'll be getting talked about in the months to come, and you'll be watching him on Saturdays play college football at a big level. But my goodness, we'll see if Patriots defense can duplicate that against Colonial Forge, who had the offense in its win over Stafford, had the defense in its win over North Stafford. How about they avenge those 2 regular season losses they had to those 2 teams? Now, they beat Patriot in a close game regular season. We'll see if they now have the opposite happen to them, where a team they beat ends up beating them. Yeah, as the home higher seed, a 5 seed hosting a region title game.
As a coach,
yeah,
this excites me to see a lower seeded teams moving on, because I can imagine what that locker room feels like, what's going emotionally through those coaching staffs and players. Hey, forget that seed number in front of us. We just got to make sure the number on the scoreboard has us with at least 1 more point. So from a coaching perspective, from a fan perspective, we always want to see 1 versus 2 in the finals, because everybody will figure, oh, those are the 2 best teams, they should get there. But when you get to this level right now, everybody's good, and sometimes you got to take your eyes off those seed numbers, and see what the numbers are in terms of what they're doing on the field.
Let's move on down to Region 6C and Region D. Well, you see 6C had its games, the Occoquan region, on Tuesday night. Thursday night. Yeah, it's the court division, as Ed calls it. The court division. It was Region 6C played its opening round on Thursday. Its second round's coming up on Tuesday. Hayfield put up 75, I believe, all in the first half. They take on Fairfax now. West Springfield will play Lake Braddock. You and I both called for an upset with SoCo, South County, to knock off West Springfield. It did not happen. Hayfield, tell you what, they're a machine. They're either loved or hated by most people in the state. I will say this, by the way, and I'm going to get myself in trouble on this. I don't care. The reporting on this, we talked about this on the car ride over. The reporting on this, on the investigation with Hayfield and a lot of that, was really excellent and hard-hitting to start. And now it's gone above and beyond, where we have this lady, I don't even have her name, and I apologize, it's not in front of me. And again, I'm not questioning her background, her judgment, but it now feels like every story is to try to dig and find whatever little issue that they can. They're not even highlighting what happened in the games. I mean, I'm looking at some of these games. I'm like, what? Do we have any report on what happened in the game? Who had any yards or touchdowns? There's no info on stats, and I'm a numbers guy, and I get it. If someone's breaking rules, they should be punished. You're the first to say that, even more than me. But now it feels like if you read some of the stories, it's just dripping with obvious just distaste for them, and it shouldn't be to that extent. We should be neutral on this here. Neutral.
I think what we have. This is my take on this.
Go ahead.
You have a reporter who's not well vested in the sports world.
Correct.
And she's doing it from the crime reporting world.
But is this a crime, or is it just?
It's not a crime.
Okay.
There's no law broken here. It's regulations under question with VHSL, and is where it should be. And the VHSL should be the governing body for it. Signed, sealed, delivered. It should have never went into court.
Derek Fulgham says biased journalism. It does have a little bit of a slant, and I thought at first it didn't, but now it's gone above and beyond.
And it's really a tear into the Hayfield program. Now, if they're wrong, they're wrong. I get all that.
Correct.
But I just think you have a reporter here who's doing it from a criminal intent.
It's going
investigating out of his criminal. Sometimes it's them trying to make a name for themselves. So maybe NBC, CBS, ABC hires them for their new stuff, whatever. And I'm not throwing knives at the young lady. I'm just saying,
I'm not, and I don't know what all she's, and I'm not questioning how much work and time and effort she's put into it, because she obviously has.
Yes.
But now someone needs to say, look, and not in a threatening manner, but like, look, just let it breathe a little bit. Let it breathe. We have another hearing coming up December 4th. If they stay in and go to the state semis and make it that far, God bless them. If they get booted out, we have to live with that. You have to live with whatever decision is made, and we don't know what's going to happen. But it feels like we're going overboard, way too much. Let it breathe. Our man Dwight Vick, we've had on, also chimes in. Most controversial story in VHSL history. Her stories are crazy biased. And look, that's not from us. This is our listeners and viewers saying this. It does feel like, and again, I think she was doing a really good job at first, and her entire team of reporters, and I know it's not just her, in terms of trying to cover this, but now it's gone, out of bounds. When we start getting to a point where we're, going into, they should have done this during the game. Like, look, you know this, you've coached games. You can't tell a coach how to coach his team and players. You can't do that. Now you've stepped over the line.
And if you really want to get into this, I don't know, maybe some of our listeners say, well, what do you mean court? What's going on? The parents, and some of the parents at Hayfield football players have taken this to court, because originally VHSL deemed Hayfield ineligible
2-year ban
for playoffs. They didn't have to forfeit any games, which makes me question what the heck is going on.
So let me stop you there for a second. That was my whole thing with this. If the VHS, and I'm not saying the VHSL was right, wrong, or different, had there been, and this is my comeback to you last week. Okay, if there's something wrong, why weren't those individuals who had to sit out, or there was questions about the transfer, and transfers are everywhere. It's a big issue, statewide, nationwide. How come they're not ruled ineligible and there's a forfeiture of games?
Right, and I'm going to go even further back. Coach came from Freedom High School. Look at Freedom scores last year.
Yeah.
They had an influx of transfers in Freedom.
They did.
Okay, and then they put up some ridiculous numbers. I'm not questioning the man's coaching ability because I'm sure he can coach. But I've said this a million times. Let me coach my transfers that I can go out and recruit. I may not lose a game or maybe one or two that my coaching screw it up. I'm not going to lose it either. Now, if those kids, again, and I can't spend a whole lot of time on this, if those families move into a school district, I don't care how they moved in, as long as they're in that school district, they're eligible to play. But if they're living outside the school district and the kid is living with somebody and it's not lawful guardianship, then it's illegal. And the VHSL, I say to you, you need to step in and take care of this mess before we get to this point. So I'm putting some blame on VHSL. That now VHSL might say, well, we already ruled they were ineligible.
Right. And Fairfax County did an investigation and nothing was found. So there's a discrepancy there. How come the VHSL does something in Fairfax County? Hand A doesn't know what hand B is doing, or vice versa.
It's too much of a mess.
It's a mess.
And what
the whole thing is chaotic.
And I understand where some of the Hayfield parents are coming from. If their kid has been a player in this system and they even live right next to the school maybe, and all of a sudden you're told, ban, you can't play. A parent, I would be highly upset because we've done what we're supposed to do and we're getting punished for others' mistakes. That's not how it's supposed to be. Yeah. And that's where the courts coming in and are saying, you can't punish everybody. So now I may say, okay, courts, then you should dig deeper and say the kids are ineligible, pull them out. But that's not the court's job. That's VHSL. So this is why I'm saying this mess should have never happened. What happens December 4th if all of a sudden the judge rules, okay, get them out of the playoffs?
Well, that's my question as we go to Region 6D. And this is something I actually posed to someone. I won't say who it was, but this person has some influence on athletics on a local and sometimes state basis. I'll leave that individual out. I said, let me throw you a scenario. Let's say, and I'm not saying I want this or not to happen. Let's say they get booted out. State semis, they change the course again. Do you take, let's just project your top seeds get there. Let's say you get Hayfield, Lake Braddock, and Occoquan Region 6C. Let's say you get either Springs or Smith against Forge or Patriot. And then you get Madison to knock off Washington Liberty, which is a great matchup of 12-0 teams. How about Nicely catching a TD and running one against Westfield, who gave up a heck of an effort, much like we tipped the hat to Glen Allen. Westfield, Scott Vossler, year one, doing an awesome job. Westfield's known for success. Tom Verbanek years ago. And then now you go from him to Kyle Simmons. They go from Kyle Simmons to Scott Vossler coming in from Robinson, and they have a nice 8-3. Check that 9-3 year. Their 2 losses to Madison were very close. Washington Liberty outlast Langley. They've been getting not enough attention. No name in terms of marquee star power, but they keep winning ball games. Excellent defense for Coach Shapiro and his boys. But let's say you get Madison, they win, and Lake Braddock was to lose to Hayfield, which is probably what you would expect in your predictions, right?
I would say so.
What happens if come December 4th, before the state semis on the 7th, it gets said that Hayfield's out? Do you take the runner-up, in this scenario, Lake Braddock, and you move them on after losing the game? Or do you give a Madison a bye to the state championship? Scenario U, what says? I posted this to 2 people last night. One person said you take Lake Braddock. The other person said you can't take Lake Braddock. You have to put Madison with a bye. What do you do? What do you do if it gets to that? By the way, that's a very possible scenario in this point.
First of all, if you're going to say Madison has to get a bye, why? Where's the precedent for that? Where's that in the rule?
I didn't say you have to. I'm just throwing it out
there.
I'm
just saying if that's true. I'm trying to think of it from my coaching perspective. That if I lost to a team that's technically ineligible, I should get a forfeit, so I should move on. So my first reaction is whoever lost to Hayfield, Lake Braddock, they get to move on.
So you would have a Lake Braddock
because
Madison.
You're supposed to have a game played anyways. Madison can't sit back and say, whoa, we should get a bye on a Madison.
Could you imagine, though, the scenario that we've seen it in basketball back in the days of the conferences? You can lose games as a regional runner-up and win a state championship. It happens all the time. But you could have a football team lose a playoff game and could actually go on to win a state championship. That could happen.
Again, and we maybe need to tie a bow to this. It should have never happened. It should have been taken care of. It should
long
have been.
ago.
Everybody should have had eyes on Freedom last year to see what happened.
It makes the state look bad. And when Freedom doesn't score a point and they have to play a reduced schedule, it just obviously adds fuel to the fire on this whole thing. So
right, because half of Freedom's players ended up at Hatfield. Explain that.
Right. As we turn the page, and we'll get ready to take a timeout and go to Class 5, do our interviews with that, and come back and do more here with you. Of the teams we have left, the final 8, it's Madison, Washington Liberty, Hayfield, Lake Braddock, Patriot, Colonial Forge, Smith, Highland Springs. Hayfield, hands down the favorite in your eyes, and B, if they don't win the state championship for whatever the reason may be, they get beat on the field or they get put out, who in your eyes would be the most likely to do it? I'm thinking because of your 757 biased.
Yes, I'm biased, very biased.
You're going to say Oscar Smith.
I'm biased, but you know what? A whole lot of people on that same train because Smith is pretty doggone good.
Right.
Not Johnny come lately, not the darling story of the year. This is a team expected to be here, been here before. And I tell you what, I would all love to see a Smith Hayfield matchup. Smith would not back down.
At JMU.
Yeah, that would be a heck of a ball game. But if Hayfield is out by way of the courts beat them and take them out, then it becomes a little bit wider open. I would lean towards Smith, but what about the two undefeateds? It's who is it? Madison and who's Madison playing?
Washington Liberty.
So they would play each other. So I got to believe that winner in Smith would be the two to put your eyes on.
Okay. We'll take a timeout and come back with more here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk, including the Class 5, Class 4, Class 3, Class 2, Class 1 pictures, and get your interaction with us. Woodrow says Oscar Smith will not defeat Hayfield. All right, Smith fans, don't throw eggs at us. We'll find Woodrow. He says that it won't happen. We shall see if they get to December 4th and square off against each other. It could be a much-anticipated showdown if we get to that point. But let's take a timeout and hear from some of the sponsors that make it possible for us to do this with you each and every Saturday. Come on out. It's the Neptune Bowl, 2 o'clock kickoff from the Plex in Virginia Beach. Back in a moment.
Get ready for the Neptune Bowl presented by DoubleTree by Hilton on November 23rd, 2024 at the Virginia Beach Sportsplex. Tailgating starts at 10 a.m. Grab your passes for just $50. Gates open at 12:30 with kickoff at 2 p.m. Advance tickets are only $20 or $25 at the gate on game day. Don't miss the 3rd annual Neptune Bowl featuring a dynamic matchup between the Apprentice School Builders and the Atlantis University Atlanteans. Visit beachsportsplex.com to learn more today and secure your...
What makes a life a good one? Is it our adventures? Or the friends we find along the way? Is it the challenges we conquer together? Maybe it's the people's lives we touch every single day. So, what makes a life a good one? You'll have to figure that one out for yourself.
I grew up here. I know this town. I know the people here. More important, they know me. As a banker at Town Bank, we become part of the communities we serve. The people who bank with us, our members, know us. When you bank with Town Bank, you'll know your banker. You'll know you can reach us, and you'll know we're here for you.
What is more? Is it more reps, more strength, more stamina? We say it's all of that, but it's greater than just what's in the mirror. It's about improving your mental and physical health. More is a feeling of achievement, fulfillment, confidence. It's looking better, feeling better, being better, and it's our mission to get you there, because here you are more. One Life Fitness.
We got one more commercial.
Welcome back to 757 Sports Talk. No, it's not in the pool. It's Hatfield and Young at the Plex. the Virginia Beach Sportsplex. Here are two guys that, even though they never shut up, they're always dropping pearls of wisdom. Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And we're back here at the Plex 757 Saturday Sports Talk here on CoVA Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, wherever you may be tuning in. Apple, Spotify, IG, VirginiaPreps.com, Facebook, all the great avenues. Thanks to our entire team, from Chuck Thornton and Nick Senti to Jack Lowe. Our man Rico, another one of our former producers.
Rico
Grant
Suave
in the building.
is here. Son of a gun.
You can hear Rico. There he is. Don Suave is going to jump in. You can hear him on the weekday program on also Fox 1310 with Jack and Johnny D.
I didn't know Rico got out.
6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern,
Monday through Friday. Story.
Also here on CoVA Sports TV. Wow, did you say that out loud?
Now, Rico's a good dude, man. That's nothing bad. I'm just saying. Rico Suave.
Yeah, unbelievable. And look,
I used his name twice in Richmond. Dodged 2 bullets.
Listen, Woodrow is one of the many. I was at a game 2 weeks ago. I kid you not. And I forgot the guy's name. I apologize. He might chime in. He says, I love your little swimming pool returns. And you see, Woodrow said,
No.
Love the swimming pool. Wouldn't you like to be in the pool today?
Nobody wants full in the pool segments now. That's long gone. It's done with.
They love the pool stuff.
Okay, you can do one of those cold splashes in the middle of January and February. Then we'll see the full in the pool for sure.
Oh, I mean, wouldn't you love to be in a pool today?
No.
It's cold. Too cold for you, huh?
Too cold to be in a pool right now.
Yeah.
Only a fool would be in the pool. That's why we call it the fool. We need that segment sponsored.
We're working on it.
Swim pool, somebody, ice machine, somebody that sells ice, an Eskimo, somebody sponsor full in the pool.
We got a bunch of people watching on Instagram too. Our man C Myers C_Myers 66 says for Class 5 he's got an LC Bird Maury final. Woo!
Nice.
Let's get to Class 5 as we turn the page. I'm going to try to find my sheet here as we move it along here on the bracket for you on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Let's go to Class 5. Let's start from Region A on down. And we got, I think it's DeJonia Pope Sr. says Phoebus winning Class 4. We'll get you on the screen here, and we'll talk about Class 4 in a moment. Hang tight. We're going down. We're going from top to bottom today. We got people there loving the high school football playoff action. And by the way, we see Derek Fulgham have the show from Matt's Pool, the live audience. Oh, I love the idea, Derek.
Derek,
beautiful.
See, Derek, you can say that crap because you don't have to be next to this joker. There ain't no way I'm going anywhere near a pool with this dude.
If we do a live program from a swimming pool in July,
that's not happening.
Do you know how many viewers we get? I mean, Nick over there, he's loving the idea. We can have a barbecue. We can sit there and watch a Diamondbacks Yankees game in July when we beat you 8-2. You can tell Marte hits 2 home runs.
Thinking it's not happening.
Oh, it'd be great. You're going to lose Soto. You're going to lose Soto. He's going to the Mets.
No, I don't want to hear that.
He's gone.
I talked to an inside source.
By the way, Tim Kirchin's a scheduled guest for us on December 7th. He's going to come back for his 4th appearance this year. He's in high demand. We're going to right now. The winter meetings are coming up, so he's going to join us the weekend of the state semis. We'll have a little baseball talk for about 20-30 minutes. I might be out of town that weekend. We'll figure out what we're doing that weekend.
I hope.
I'll be at JMU the following weekend, December 14th, because I'm calling the games on NFHS Network.
Anytime you're not on, it's a good day.
I'll still be on. Don't worry about that. Let's get to Class 5. Green Run wins 22-19 in double overtime. All right, I want to get this controversy settled too, by the way. Now, I don't know how much of a controversy it is. I give Green Run's defense full marks for getting the stop and forcing a field goal. They go to OT. They actually get a field goal, I think, to force the OT at 10-all. It is Green Run with the ball. I'll actually go to what transpired just to make sure I've got the actual rundown correctly here for Region 5A. So they end up tying the game. They have a 7-0 halftime lead. Terrence Ely's 13-yard TD run. Indian River goes 31 yards, 5 plays. They get a field goal from Noah Martinez. Green Run goes 43 yards and 8 plays, field goal. Stallions block a 42-yard field goal in the last minute that could have given Indian River to win. So they go to overtime. In overtime, Kassan Farrar's 3-yard run on 3rd and goal gives them the lead, but the extra point is no good. Indian River comes back with Cam Kirby, the quarterback, 1-yard TD run, but they're flagged for excessive celebration on the TD. Now, I didn't see it, but someone that was watching the game on NFHS Network, you might know this guy, I can't say his name on the air, tells me he thought the flag was total BS. That's what he said. I didn't see it. You don't flag him there on a celebration for that. It pushes the extra point back to a 35-yarder, which Martinez just misses. They go to double OT again. Full marks to Brandon Williams, Terrell Whitehead. My guy, T. Whitehead, D coordinator, they did a job with the defense, and their players did a job defensively to force the field goal. And then Farrar, the UConn committee we've had on the show at quarterback, loses 7 yards on a wildcat play. They come back. He gets a scramble for 15. He gains 1 on 3rd and goal from the 2, 4th and goal from the 1. What are you doing, Brandon Williams? You going for it or you're kicking the field goal? He goes for it. They win. Celebration on Dahlia Drive, and the Stallions move on at 12-0. A heartbreaking, gut-wrenching loss for Brandon Carr and the Braves. And I'm blaming you because you saw him last week at the game and you gave him bad juju in that restaurant y'all were in, which doesn't sponsor the show, so I can't say where.
No, that has nothing to do with this one. I'm going to say this. I haven't seen the film, was not at the game. But if you're telling me you're flagging for excessive celebration, I can't stomach that. I'm sorry.
Stomach that.
I can't, not in the playoffs. Now, officials can say it's in the rule book. I get that. But if you're going to throw that at me, I'm going to throw back at you. There's about 15 other things in the rule book you haven't called in this game tonight.
I had a ref in a press box recently. I don't want to get him in trouble. He told me you can call holding on almost every play.
Every level. Even
every play.
Pee-wee football, there's holding every play. So, and again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Now, we don't know that he makes the extra point either way, so we can't say that they were totally screwed, robbed of the victory, but you would have loved to see.
And Green Run people, Brandon, this has nothing on Green Run.
No.
First of all, they don't need nothing from anybody anyways. They proved it all year on the field, and they're going to continue doing that.
And I think this helps them for Salem, which we'll get to in a second, but go ahead.
But my thing is this. In that type of a situation, I'm the official. I like to think. I'm coming over and I'm telling these youngsters who are celebrating because they're youngsters, y'all need to stop right now, or I'm about to throw some flags, all right, which could cost you. I'm going to do some preventive officiating. And then I'm going over to the bench at Indian River, and I'm going to tell them, look, I've warned your players before, be careful on the celebrations. I don't want to have to throw a flag in that situation. Preventive officials. If Green Run Brandon Williams gets on me about not throwing a flag, says celebration, I'm saying to Coach Williams, Coach, I would do the exact same thing for your kids.
Right.
I would tell them, no excessive celebrations. I understand their kids
unless
are
the
excited.
Unless the guy's jumping in the stands, I don't know that you go to that point. In
way,
overtime, in a playoff game.
The only way I could see myself throwing that flag would be I've told them to stop doing it. And one of the kids might say, turn around, look at me and say, man, shut up, old man. We just scored. We're excited. I might have to throw the flag there because that's unnecessary. But again, that's just me, top of my head. And I've seen celebrations. And a lot of times I say to myself, they're kids. Not that you have to allow it because it's in the rule book.
Right.
But that's exactly how I would handle it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's how I'm going to officiate. And I don't want any officials getting in my face saying, well, you don't know the rules. You're not a football official, because I'm going to tell you right now, I've seen enough officiating in all sports throughout the years. There's some bad officials out there. Tons of good ones, but there's some bad officials out there. You can't live just with the rule book in your face. You got to do preventive officiating. That would be a great place for preventive officiating.
Well, let's get to the matchup before we move on to Maury, Warwick, and what's taking place in 5B as well as 5C and 5D. Cam Kirby and Rayvon Moore combined for 38 rushes for 146 yards and a couple of TDs for that Indian River ground attack. Farrar has an okay night, 14-29, 171, but really the difference was Jaden Anderson, the Virginia Tech commit, the future Hokie, 8 grabs for $122. He's the leading receiver in the 7.57. Can Salem find an answer for him in this rematch? And how about the Salem Sun Devils and their offense, Ed? They put up a 42 burger on Deep Creek. Maybe a little bit too much for Deep Creek to bite off and chew in this matchup, because Salem comes out and they really had their way. 42 unanswered. They scored twice in the second quarter, went up 21-3 in that period. But Jason Scooter Williams at the trigger, the quarterback for them. You've got Willie Moore, who leads the 7.57 in rushing, couple of big-time receivers in Fabian Wells, Kassir Patterson. You've been saying that they have offense, which it also in some ways makes me more impressed with what Bayside did to hold them to 14. I think they can move the ball and score on Green Run. The question to me is, now this defense has played better in the postseason, 10 points allowed in 2 games, but they're not playing Bayside Deep Creek's offense. They're playing Green Run. How do you stop Anderson? Do you go out straight out and double cover him this time? What do you do if you're Mark Hall?
Well, I think you do what got you here.
Wait. You do what got you here, but you don't do what you did the last time you played them because you lost.
Let me ask a question. What was the date they played them before?
So they played back on October as I can see here on my screen. Hold on. October the 4th.
Okay.
It was 40-18. And that game was like a 9-point game at the half. Go ahead.
I know I'm asking you a lot of stuff. I don't know if you can pull it up.
Okay.
Since that game, what has Salem averaged on offense? I'm going to guess.
Since that game.
I'm
Good
going to
question.
guess they're in the 30s. They're putting points on the board now.
So since that game, great question, they have averaged 42.6 points per game.
Okay.
Now, they've beaten Kellam, Ocean Lakes, Tallwood, Princess Anne, Bayside. They scored 35 in a loss to Cox, had 14 against Bayside in the playoffs, 42 against Deep Creek. So they haven't played a team. Green Run's got some guys.
No
Defensive
question.
front, Manny Taylor's having a heck of a year, former Sun Devil, by the way. He's going to Pitt. You got Zeke Chinwiki, future Hokie. They can rush the passer. Their secondary's got some playmakers like Knowledge Harrell, who's going to Virginia Tech as well. Look, I don't think it's a simple air show and it's a shootout in this game, but my big thing is if they're going to have a chance, they can't let Anderson go off. And I'm going to do – if somebody beats me, I'm not letting him be the guy to beat
Right.
me.
That's the old adage. You don't let the best player beat you.
Right.
Some people have the idea we shut everybody else down, let him do what he wants. No, because in those situations, he'll show you why he's the best player.
Right.
So
Which he did last time they played.
I think Salem's coming in hopefully with a different swagger if it's Green Run. Green Run's Green Run. Green Run has to worry about no changes other than to make sure, okay, why is Salem scoring a whole lot? Because they're not scoring 40 points on Green Run. I don't see that happening. But I think it's a different Salem team mentality-wise, which should help them in this game unless they have a mental block playing Green Run. The kids maybe feel like, no matter what, especially if they get down early, oh, man, we just can't beat Salem, and we're just happy where we are. You can't have that attitude. But I think if you do put some clamps on Anderson the best you can, try to let them do something else. You got to put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. It starts with the ball in his hand. You got to put pressure on him. You got to move him so that he can't just sit there and watch Anderson get open. And of course, you got to make sure Anderson don't get open as easy. Easier said than done, sitting at a table with a microphone or headset on. But the idea of getting out there and doing it. Green Run is, to me, still one of the state's power teams. And until somebody takes them down, I don't see them losing.
I don't think they lose this game either. And I think having a game that was decided by single digits, their first of the year, their closest game prior was the 17-point win over Kempsville in the rain, will help them for what lies ahead. And I think it's going to actually be a benefit as they get ready to take on the Sun Devils in a rematch for the region championship. Brandon Williams and his crew trying to win their third region title in 4 seasons as they knocked off an Indian River team that beat them last year for the region crown. Over in 5B, Maury's been winning region championships, my goodness, every year since 2018. So what's that? It's 2018, 19, 21, 2, 3. This will be their 7th in a row. If they get it done against Kings Fork, it was all Maury, 41-7 in its game over Warwick. Let's tackle before we get to Dyrri, McCain, and the Sound. Kings Fork's game with Nansemond River, scoreless game at the half, but it was all Bulldogs in the second half at 35-14 as they got it done. Javon Ford caps off a 56-yard drive with a 34-yard touchdown run. DeAndre Artis-Boone hits the Darius win for a 27-yard TD. They take a 14-point lead. Nansemond River on 4th down and 6. They get Tavon Douglas to get a TD, and they had the extra point go no good, but Kings Fork kept its offense in high gear in the second half as Artis-Boone and Wynn hooked up again for a TD, 21-yard pass to put the game on ice. So Anthony Joffrion, before we tackle the total matchup with Maury here, they played that close game against Nansemond River when Tyrell Grant was healthy at quarterback. We spoke about that with Alonzo Ricks Jr. last week on the hash with Hatfield. They put Douglas in at QB. They win the game with Bethel 14-6, a defensive slobber knocker. But back in October, check that, September 26th when they played at Nansemond River, it was 32-27. Warriors fumbled inside the 1. This time I didn't feel it would be as close, and it wasn't as close, but it was scoreless at the half. What's the mood for Anthony Joffrin to win this against a Suffolk rival? You play great defense for a half, and then your offense picks it up in the second half. Are you encouraged, discouraged, a little bit of both? What's your mood right now for Coach Jove?
The number one thing we want, win and survive, move on.
So you don't worry about the mood whatsoever?
Yeah, I don't think you put a lot. You won the game. So as a coaching staff, you got to look a little deep into what happened. Number one, what happened was you played Nansemond River, a good team, a rival that they've had problems with in the past. And they had to, make some adjustments at halftime or whatever. I mean, you might want to take that halftime speech and bottle it up. And then they came out and just wore down the Warriors, and they just couldn't get it going. Warriors just couldn't get it going, couldn't sustain the offense as Kings Fork just kept scoring. I don't think it's a worry for them, for Kings Fork. They know what they are, and they know why they're where they're at. And they were able to overcome that. They made the adjustment. It wasn't, man, we eked out a win by a couple points. This is crazy. This is not a – no, it's not a big deal. Kings Fork, again, in a division where there's so many powerhouse teams, sometimes gets overlooked. but they're winning and moving on. The Warwick Maury score surprised me a little bit. I thought Warwick would do a little bit more.
Well, let's get to that. Would you like to hear first Kendall Daniels of the Commodores, the future South Carolina Gamecock, or would you like to hear Dyrri McCain after that win?
Go the kiddies first. That's
All
our
right.
rule. Kiddies first. Coach cleans it up after.
All right, here's Kendall Daniels. He had 2 touchdown grabs, 2 interceptions. I think he's up to 6 or 7 on the year. I believe it's 6 now. INTs on the season. Remember, he got hurt a couple years ago at the Plex in that state semifinal game against Green Run. He's been back. He's been healthy, and he's been a baller, showing why he's a top 200 prospect in the country, dare we say. Here's Kendall Daniels after the win over Warwick with us on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. All right, with the Maury class of 2025 standout Kendall Daniels Jr., the South Carolina Gamecocks commit. They win it tonight 41-7 over the Warwick Raiders. Kendall, you were part of this game last year in the region championship against Warwick. You know, they got a pretty ferocious defense, but you all ball out defensively too. Tell me about playing out here in the cold, the wind, and how you came out with such a fast start.
The weather really don't matter to us. Coach McCain was preaching, like, be dressed for the weather. So we was dressed for the weather. They didn't phase us, and we just came out playing hard.
Got a couple of touchdown receptions. Take me through the first one. I think it was just this basic slip screen, and you tightrope the sideline. What did you see on that play?
Yeah, Coach McCain had a great play call for me. He said all week they're gonna block it up. Nobody gonna go out there, and we was blocked up, and I scored. Thanks to my teammates for blocking.
There you go. Now, you were named first team All-Eastern District at tight end, I think it was. They lined you up in the backfield, right, for that play? Was that?
Yeah, I play everything.
Offensively, how much do you take a joy in that? Because some players might say, I just want to be a running back or a quarterback, but it feels like you enjoy being that versatile Swiss Army knife type of guy.
Yeah, I enjoy it. Coach McCain, me and Coach McCain had a discussion about me playing quarterback or whatever. And we had a Tori Newkirk, so I was like, whatever you need from me, I got you. I'm going to do it.
And you do get some snaps back there and make some plays, throwing it and running it too. How about defensively today at safety? There was a guy back in the day at Maury that was a really good ball player named Cam Chancellor. You made some picks out here tonight, look like him. Tell me about that pick 6 at the house.
I seen it all week, the slip screen. Well, we didn't see it all week, but I seen it first time my boy Hunter Collins dropped it. So I had bid him into it, and he threw it, and I was right there at perfect timing.
Now, Coach McCain had mentioned also that early in the season you had a chance to make some plays that you didn't do. I guess maybe the picks that may run through the hands. How much was that an emphasis? And when it came to you tonight, did you just feel like you were in a rhythm? What changed for you to make those plays this evening?
Preparation, first off. I prepped myself for it. Then I wasn't looking it in the first game. I was seeing too much green, but Coach McCain told me he owed me to hold a higher standard than everybody, so he expect me to make those plays, so I had to come out here and make them.
Now, is that your first pick 6 of the year or second?
Yeah.
That's your first.
I don't keep track.
Okay.
Trying to win.
You do keep track of getting the W's, though. You now have won 27 in a row. What's it going to take to win another region championship next week and keep this thing going to get a repeat?
It's going to take preparation, come from the start. Start at practice Monday afternoon.
There you go. And lastly, this is the most important question. Next week, your Gamecocks of South Carolina, who you're committed to, take on Ari Watford's Clemson Tigers. What's going to happen next Saturday in 8 days?
Ari already know what's going on, man. Go Cox.
There you go. Big one coming up with South Carolina, Clemson, and Maury. We'll be playing host to Kingsport next week in the Region 5B Championship. That's Kendall Daniels Jr. Thanks so much. All the best. So that was Kendall Daniels, his team a winner over the Warwick Raiders, 41-7. Ed, it's 757 Saturday Sports Talk at the Plex. It's sunny coming on. Yeah, it's cold. Bundle up. Enjoy the Neptune Bowl coming your way at 2 o'clock right here on CoVA Sports TV. We'll be here with you for the broadcast of that. We've got the tailgate. People are out here. We got music. We got people tailgating, different kinds of, what do you call these little setup stands over here? We got all these different things.
I think in a
shirts,
mall they call them kiosks.
Kiosks, kiosks. We got them here.
My only question is, where's the food?
Where's the food? It's coming.
If you're coming here, people, bring us a hot chocolate, maybe a certain, or not allowed to mention the name because they don't sponsor us, but it's something with chicken. We're out here. We haven't eaten in days.
Oh, that's not true.
Well, you eat every second. I haven't eaten in days. So
you poor thing. You're going to starve.
Just when you're a bachelor and you don't feel like cooking, I mean, the only one I'm cooked for is the dog. So I let him do that mess.
What'd you think about Kendall Daniels there as, they got, by the way, Ari Watford and him, they might have a little trash talking this week as South Carolina plays Clemson in a week. But my goodness, a couple of INTs, 2 TD catches. I got a new nickname for him. He's Dazzling Daniels. He is some kind of fun to watch, number 5. He's big, lanky. And I tell you what, I don't know if he'll be a Cam Chancellor one day, but the guy, even you'll hear Coach McCain's comments coming up. He's got a bright future that could one day land him at the professional ranks.
Well-mannered, did a good job on the interview. The thing that I zeroed in on too, when he said, when you ask about the weather, this is one thing this is why I don't know if I could ever play football in the winter time. I'd be cold as can be, all that. I know some people say you block it out, and once you get playing, you don't worry about it. I can't deal with cold. especially kids to say that, because most times kids don't want to be outside if it's, 49 degrees. To them, that's below freezing. And he performed well in that in the element. So hats off to that type of kid doing that. Now, going to South Carolina, he won't have to worry about a whole lot of cold days.
No, not too many. But there'll be some SEC battles when you play the Alabamas, the LSUs, the Georgia. Although LSU, your boy Brian Kelly, former Notre Dame coach, not doing too hot these days, is he? Ole Miss, Texas, and others.
Yeah, look at the league you're in. Come on now. It's the most powerful football conference ever.
Ahmad Gibbs says Maury might running clock teams the rest of the way. They were an extra point away from it last night, 34-point margin. I want to get your take on those comments from Ahmad after we hear from, you want to hear from Dyrri McCain now?
Let's do that.
Here's Dyrri McCain. Commodores a winner. Ho-hum, just business as usual for them as they beat the Warwick Raiders, giving the most points on the board against that Warwick defense that was giving up just 5 a game since last year's 48-20 drubbing. This time it was 41-7. Here's his comments with us at Powhatan Field afterwards on CoVA Sports TV. All right, here with Maury head football coach Dyrri McCain. His Commodores now another win away from another region title, 41-7 here over the Warwick Raiders. Coach, 35-0 first half, pretty dominant and impressive. All three faces clicking for you, offense, defense, special teams. Given the chilly temperatures, the wind here, you have to be pleased that you weren't bothered by the opponent, which is a really good defense, and the elements, if you will.
Yeah, I think that just like I say all the time, I just think that we've been at so many of these moments. We've played in cold games, crowds, moments, hype of the game. It was nothing new to us. We had to come out here and just like we did. But that's the experience of being in those games, not only just throughout the years of the past years, last year and the year before and the year before that, but the beginning of the season. Now, granted, it was different weather, but again, this group is used to playing in November and December. So they know that practices are going to start to get like this. They know that games are going to start to get like this. So proud of the guys for not mentally letting that get them and focusing on the task at hand.
You get a couple of defensive scores, which we'll hit on in a little bit, from the Terps committing Carlton Smith and the Gamecocks committing Kendall Daniels, who we'll talk about as well, plus a block punt. But your running game set up your passing game, the screen attack. Tayshawn Branch with some really quality runs, and you told me watch out for him as this year went on. Also, your quarterback, Torrey Newkirk, keeping plays a lot with his feet. What does Branch give you as a sophomore in your attack? You have so many weapons, and he's coming on.
Yeah, he is, man. He's playing his role, and he's giving us way more than I even imagined this year. Just like anything, he's young, so there's still mistakes that he's making. But as far as the playmaking that he's bringing us to be that young, the future's bright for him. I really see him as, he's very Peyton Jones-ish, in my opinion. Just everything he can do with running the ball, his catching ability out the backfield, and we just gotta make sure we keep developing him and grow him into a better player.
I've said that it's an embarrassment of riches at the receiver position going back to 5 years ago when you won your first state title with Keandre Lambert, Ty Granger, Deshaun Peele, and that whole crew. You've got a bunch of them this year with the Indiana commit LeBron Bond, Damon McDaniel Jr., Eli Moss, Kendall Daniels catching 2 TDs tonight, and then the guy that's back from injury, Javon Wiggins. Speak on what he's brought coming back from the injury last year. I know he wanted to get out there, and he's really popped out here.
Yeah, couldn't wait for him to get back, man. Just knowing all the hard work and time that he's put in. It sucks to kind of go through that situation. I've been through it myself.
It was an ACL, was it?
Yes.
Okay.
And just to come back and be doing what he's doing. He's been hungry. He's been involved with our practices over the time of him trying to get back. And he's just put in the time and work. He understands what we're doing, so it's nothing new to him. It's just kind of he's back now, and I think that he's back in the mode of actually playing instead of trying to figure it out. I think he's back, and he's helped us tremendously, just in all phases, man. The running game with the blocks, and obviously his explosiveness with the ball in his hands and downfield plays. But again, man, I got a group of unselfish guys outside, man, and he's just another blessing to have in that room.
We've seen glimpses of it. College coaches have too, that even going back to a sophomore year, Kendall Daniels can be the best player on the football field on a given night. Tonight it felt like he was, with 2 TD grabs, 2 picks, 1 return to the house. Just what he brings you in both aspects, offensively, defensively, and now it being his last hurrah before he goes to the SEC. What are you looking for out of him, as he looks like he can be that takeover player any moment?
Yeah, that's who he's always been. So, there was a couple times earlier on in the year where that he didn't make some plays. And not to say that he was playing terrible. He just didn't make some plays sometimes. And just the player that I know that he can be night in and night out, he's going to have to do that night in and night out in the conference that he's going to. And then the type of games that we're going to play in this stretch. So before he even goes there, we're going to need him to be at his best. So I feel like that he's learned from those beginning of the year mistakes and not making making those plays, to now understanding, all right, like I got to come ready to go and I got to be locked in. And now he's making those plays. It's no surprise to me. It's no surprise. The kid is that special. I think he's a Sunday player. If he can put his mind to it and do what he has to do, I think he's a Sunday football player.
Yeah, there was a guy that played safety at Maury who was pretty good that you know about in Cam Chancellor.
Yeah.
So there's been some comparisons there. Lastly, you get this win. You'll take on Kingsport next week for another region championship opportunity, and you got to get back to the state championship, which I know is the ultimate goal, December 14th. You've gone through a lot of tough opponents. That early stretch with Wise and Highland Springs, Dinwiddie, has hardened you for this point. What do you want to see here as you now turn the calendar close to December here and you're getting near that point?
It's what we've worked for and what we prepare for. So it's nothing new. It's nothing that we did not expect to be here. We know when our last practice date is we wanted to be. We know where we want to be at. We know how we want to finish this thing. So, we got to get better at the mistakes we made today. It's playoff football, and get ready for Kingsport, and we can't wait. So we know we're here next week at 7, right after Thanksgiving. We'll be ready. I'm pretty sure that they'll come coach to be ready, but we'll be ready for that game.
Well, enjoy the holiday, the turkey, 27 wins and counting for Coach McCain and the Commodores. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
That's right. The win streak is now at 27 in a row after they beat Warwick by a count of 41-7 at 757 Saturday Sports Talk here on CoVA Sports TV from the Plex in Virginia Beach. Come on out. We're tailgating. Kickoff today with the college football matchup between the Apprentice School and Atlantis University comes your way at 2 o'clock here on CoVA Sports TV. Ed, your thoughts on what Coach McCain said? And my goodness, they're just a complete football team right now.
Yeah, Coach was pretty reserved in his comments, pretty methodical. I think, Maury's just so much talent. I've said all year. You've said it too. Many have said it almost too deep at every position. They're just killing people with their talent. But when I see what they do against a team like Warwick, 187 total yards?
No, 87 total yards.
87 total yards.
And 8 in the first half.
I mean, that's domination over a team that is extremely good. Had they not go up against Maury, probably will win a few more playoff games.
Maybe you have to revise your statement of the best defense conversation between Oscar Smith and Phoebus. I mean, Maury's got edge rushers. They've got 3 guys with double-digit sacks, with Ari Watford is going to Clemson, Carlton Smith at linebacker, who's committed to Maryland, the Eastern District Defensive Player of the Year, and Leslie Hines. And then you've got that linebacker core we mentioned with Smith. Isaiah Ike Simmons will hit you like a Mack truck. Dylan Goads, a 3-4-year player, veteran kid. Then the secondary's got Matt Williams, who gets an interception last night. I don't know how that kid wasn't chosen all Eastern District, by the way. He got snubbed as a sophomore. He had 2 pick sixes against Lake Taylor in the same game, and he didn't make all Eastern District. So I don't know if the coaches hated him, what they were doing. But anyways, Hunter Collins back there. And then Kendall Daniels as the human eraser at safety. So, I mean, he's a rangy, ball-hawking safety. How do you go about attacking this team and scoring on them?
Maury's defense, when we think about power defense, is Phoebus.
Yeah.
It's a lot of power, a lot of muscle, a lot of
brute strength,
hard hitting.
Yeah.
Maury's a little bit more on the finesse side, quickness, speed, get there before you do. And I tell you what, I
wouldn't call them a finesse team, not a physical team. But I get what you're trying to convey, though. I get what you're trying to say.
The thing about Maury,
they're not known as that hard-nosed, blue-collar, lunch pail, Bud Foster type defense. They've gone about it in a different way in terms of building and constructing the defense. I get what you're going at, yeah.
And the other thing, too, is Maury really does a good job, coaching staff.
Yeah.
Does a good job of breaking down their opponents as to what has to – they're not just relying on their talent ability.
No.
Because you don't make a lot of changes at this point of the year.
No.
What for?
You're right.
It's you rely on what you've had and what got you. Now, they may have a thing or two up their sleeve that they haven't used much. They've been in practice. They'll use it when needed. But he does a great job. I know they get whipped up about, you got some players in there.
You do that
transfer in there.
Yeah.
Well, you got to use the transfer portal. That's just the time we're in.
But Dyrri
now.
McCain's an offensive mastermind, really good coach. And then his defensive staff, which Mike Privet coordinates the defense, used to play for Hank Sawyer, linebacker,
tremendous
Lake Taylor. He was great back in the 2008 era, so we covered him in Virginia Prep. So, and that defense, I don't think it gets enough credit just because of how awestruck people are by the offense. Yeah.
You're scoring 70 points a game. You're not thinking defense whatsoever. And if you're scoring 70 points a game, you can have a porous defense because who's getting 70 points
For example, we worried about how does Salem go about stopping Jade Anderson. If we get to the state semis and it's Maury Green Run, or even this week, take Javon Ford, for example. they're not worried about Javon Ford. They're going to have that mindset of one guy's not beating us. Anderson's not beating us. Ford's not beating us. So you better be balanced, not make mistakes. Warwick was -4 in the turnover department right out of the gate in that game, and they were done. I mean, if you commit turnovers against Maury, that is a death nail.
You
can't
give them more opportunities because they're going to get their own. You can't give them more opportunities. Now, match up with Kings Fork. Kings Fork coming to play. I mean, they've got the old house money idea. Everybody's going to pick against them. You're going to pick against them.
They beat them in a 7-on-7. Does that mean anything? Leave them Mary back in the summer? I don't think it does either.
I don't think so. It's nice to have that in your head, but what does that mean now?
Yeah.
It should just tell the players, there's a part of us that can do this if we keep believing it. Because a lot of high school kids in sports, a lot of it is mental. More so than the college and pro level, it's mental. You've got to have that mental on the right path, and then you hope everything else follows along with them. You prepared your team. That's where the coaching comes in. You've got to know football. You got to trust your staff. Head coach can't do it all. It's too much.
Sure.
But you've got to have a game plan. You got to stick to that game plan, but at the same time, be able to make in-game adjustments. One of the things, Maury, some of these power teams haven't had to do a whole lot of is make a lot of in-game adjustments because a lot of the games haven't been that close. So sometimes their real coachability is not tested until they're playing come from behind. Kings Fork was tested big at halftime. It's a scoreless game against Nazareth River, a rival who's pretty good.
True.
So now what are you going to do to come out in this game? And second half was a whole nother team. It's like maybe the coach traded everybody in at halftime and brought out another team. But Maury, you got to come with no mistakes, and you've got to play exceptional, and then you still have to hope they're off their game to knock them down.
Let's go to Region 5C. William Fleming comes from behind. They were down, I think, double digits against Louisa, who I picked. The Lions, you guys had them right where you wanted them, but Fleming comes back and steals it 27-26. You're bragging about a 1 seed beating a 5 seed, and I had the 5 seed at double digits.
You shut up, you. About Louisa this, Louisa
the
that.
Lions, they got good players. They'll be back, by the way. Savion Hyder, Dajir Carter, they're juniors. They'll be back and be roaring. We're going to send Ed Young to the jungle and feed him to the lions is what we're going to do next year. We're going to make him wait a year before he gets eaten by the lions. LC Bird, they took out Matoka. You know how high I've been on Matoka this year, 17-16. And that Bird defense, the Bird defense came through. Who has the edge, Bird and Fleming? The game's going to be at Fleming. Do you lean with that Bird defense? Can they corral, contain Malachi Coleman, a running back going to Syracuse?
God, this game to me is a coin flip. I couldn't pick somebody right now. I think both have a lot going for them at this point to say that they're going to win it because it is.
That means he wants to cheat and call up all his reporter friends like Lynn Burke and others to see if he can get the edge on
sources.
me. Do his homework and digging,
I rely on your the Hatfield mythology of high school football because most of the time you know your stuff. But I also have some insiders that give me some other things. So I'm going to have to talk to them because I don't know. This game is really tough to pick.
Speaking of also tough to pick, Riverbend, the 1 seed, Briarwood's the 2 seed. All right, doubted you, Riverbend. My man JoJo Thomas got 3 TDs. They take out the Bulldogs who won't be playing in the state championship, what seems like the first time in forever because they make it, like you like to say with Princess Anne Girls Head, it's on their calendar as a scheduled game every year.
Yep.
Mickey Thompson retired. Kedrick Golston, former Washington defensive lineman, takes over. You got Briarwoods now with Trey Dudley, running back. How much would he love, running back linebacker, to play his last high school game at JMU where he's committed? He's now just a couple wins away from doing that, pulling it off. Briarwood's coached by Mike Burnett, who played in state championship games as the head man at Tuscarora and as the head man at Broad Run, trying to get Briarwoods there. They've got a veteran quarterback, too, in Brady Carmichael. Do they have enough defense, though? They gave up 27 to Massaponax. They'll need the defense to keep Thomas and those Bears, the top seed, in check on the road.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to give up 27 points, I don't think, and win this next game. You're going to have to tighten up that defense this week in practice. I'm sure he'll know everything about his opponent coming up. But Briarwood seems to be on that course, that getting there. It's kind of neat that the kid can finish his high school career on a college field where he'll begin his college career. It's not an opportunity for many kids. That would be kind of neat to see that happen. But Briarwood's is legit. It's another team I don't think we've really spoke a whole lot of during the year, but I think they're on a path to get there.
And as you look at it, Riverbend, Briarwoods, that's the region final in 5D. 4A we go to now as we move it to Class 4. Then we'll take a timeout and recalibrate and do some Class 3 action for you. Phoebus all over Churchland. It was 41-0 in favor of the Phantoms as Jeremy Blunt's team, the reigning 3-time state champs, keep it rolling on. They'll be taking on a familiar foe and a familiar rival in Hampton. Crabbers get it done over Smithfield, 28-7 on the road. Marcus Chapman had a really good game. Casey Lassiter had 77 yards rushing, got an interception from Maury Boyd on a pick 6, in fact, and Phoebus's offense back in high gear. Marika Spinks made plays. They got a block punt in this game against the Churchland Truckers, and it was all Phantoms as they take care of business in that one, Ed. So Phoebus and Hampton, they meet yet again in the playoffs. They're known to play each other over the years. It was a great rivalry. It's not been as competitive lately. 37-3 Phoebus back on October 5th. Hampton's best chance here, it's got to be some type of way to dial up more offense and give Chapman chances through the air against this Phoebus defense. Remember, Warwick played them competitively, but I also wonder, does Hampton have enough defensive personnel at all 3 levels to contain both what Banks can do with his arm? That offense has got some confidence now. Romero Smith catching big passes. That Warwick comeback they had. You've got Davion Roberts running it in that offensive line. Line of scrimmage seems to be a big edge for Phoebus right now. How does Hampton go about neutralizing that here in 6 days?
My first instinct, I don't see it.
Okay.
Now, the good thing is it's 2 local opponents, big-time rivalry throughout history, excitement all the way. Now, some people might say, well, Phoebus is probably going to be, ho-hum, beat these jokers before, we can do it. No. Phoebus, you got to come to play. Because, again, Hampton comes on. If I'm the Hampton coach, I'm saying, look, fellas, nobody's going to pick us to win. Nobody expects us to win. Now, what do y'all want to do? You're just going to just happy to show up? We got this far? No, they're going. Hampton can be juiced to play this game because they're going to believe they can beat Phoebus. It's that big rivalry. They're not going to need extra motivation for this. But I don't know if you can rely strictly on the pass to beat a team like Phoebus because, again, me personally, I love throwing in football. I love a lot of passing. But like people tell me, when you throw the ball, 3 things happen, 2 of them are bad.
Yeah.
And I think in playoffs, I almost hate to say this, but I will. You better have a strong running attack if you're a passing team, because sometimes that run will set up those passes.
They're more geared because of Chapman, and they don't have a true bruiser in the backfield. They can just run it with 25 times.
That's where I think is going to be an issue, and they're going to have to just buckle down more on defense too, because Phoebus just pounds the heck out of you. They wear you down, and you made a good point. That line play of Phoebus really is where it starts on both sides. Defensively, they just push you back, and when they hit you, you know you got hit. They're one of those power type defensive teams. That's why I kind of think I put them up as number 1.
Woodrow has chimed in with his picks, by the way. Alta Vista, Graham, LCA, Phoebus, Maury, and proselytizers. I wonder who those guys would be. Woodrow, we're not sure who that team is.
Baby. What do you should be out here?
Is that the Double H team?
Yeah.
He's making Oscar Smith mad. He's making Hayfield mad. He's not mincing words. But I agree with him. I think on all levels. I believe Alta Vista, Graham. Yeah, I think you're right. You're taking my picks here. My number 1 team to the state.
See, you're messing up the show.
No, he's not messing up the show. He's not messing up the show.
No, he's messing up the show.
He's creating buzz and drama. Tell us if
we get to those levels, then Woody, you can jump back on.
Tell us if Woody's wrong, because I don't think he is. I think those are going to be the 6 winners. I don't know that we called the 6th one by that nickname. BHSL pay, though. We don't know yet. Let's get to.
We know what Woody should be out here. It's a tailgate. Woody, get out here with the SUV. Get the grill out. Make a couple burgers.
That's my show. SVU. You said SUV. No, you said it right. Yeah, I got you. I'm just trying to mess you up.
Get Woody out here to get the. You got nothing else pressing to do today.
He wants to watch it in Ohio State, probably. Dinwiddie King George is your semifinal game in 4B today. We both have the Generals winning it behind Harry Dalton, the Southern Cal quarterback.
Why was that game played last night? What happened? Was it always scheduled for Saturday?
Not sure. It was. Yes, it wasn't.
Okay, I thought maybe you might know.
It wasn't anything that's different. He says, by the way, Phoebus knows how to win, and I hear you. So he's listening loud and clear. We appreciate him tuning in. Let's get to the other matchup, though. Verona over Huguenot, 26-0. You and I both picked Verona, but not by this margin. My goodness. Huguenot was averaging almost 50 points per game. They had like a Maury light type of offense, throwing the ball with their quarterbacks, 2 of them, and Linwood Johnson and Charles Scott Jr., the freshman, and Ivion Lewis and Markel Dabney catching passes, and they just put up 40+. They put up 49 on Eastern View, Ed, and then they go play Verona, and Verona shuts them down. This is the same Verona team that gave up 38 in the double overtime loss, the game that they squandered late against Indian River. Well, Indian River had, unfortunately, the double overtime not go their way this time, and Verona shuts out Huguenot. Does this result regardless of what happens today with Dinwiddie and King George, does it give you pause about your thoughts for next week? And do you make the Blue Devils the favorite in that game, even on the road, if they have to go to Dinwiddie now after just totally taking apart all those defensive guys like Ja'Shawn Richardson and Miles Anderson? That whole defense just took apart Huguenots offense.
Yeah, it makes me start to think, okay, we came into the year, you were telling me Veronica's lost some key pieces from last year.
Well, everybody does.
Which everybody does, but now it's playoff time.
Don't make me out to be the bad guy. We had him high in our preseason top 10.
You played a role well because most of the time you are. I mean, look at our listeners are saying.
They're not saying that.
Yeah, well, they're using full to pull, but they took in the pull off. You look at a Verona team now that perhaps they go into a third gear in playoffs.
Yeah.
Sometimes teams will do this. You got some teams that play great regular season, and they get into playoffs and they tighten up a little bit, and all of a sudden maybe they don't have this right, and then they lose. Not a great year, but they don't get deep in the playoffs, and it goes back in that old adage. Some people say at all the three levels of play, if you're not a championship type team, forget your regular season record. I don't subscribe to that theory. I really don't.
Okay.
No. I'm the type of dude that said once upon a time, if you guarantee me in the Super Bowl every year, listen to what I say, guarantee me in the Super Bowl every year, but I'm going to lose every time, or would you rather go one time and win it? I'll take it, lose every year, because that tells me I'm among the best every single year. Now, I use the word guarantee. Some people don't believe in that philosophy. I've been told to my face. That's fine.
Yeah.
Everybody has an opinion. But Verona in the playoffs can step it up, and looks like they have. And it's a dangerous team. And again, there are some teams going on the road, doesn't matter to them. You have some teams that play better on the road than the distractions at home. Verona can obviously be one of those type of teams.
By the way, we've got people chiming in. Melvin Jr. Gaither, Phoebus by at least 30 over Hampton, he says. Ooh, Woodrow thinks they give him a hard time, the Crabbers. Let me ask this question. Let me change it up. Who has a tougher road to the championship? Phoebus, defending three-time champ in Class 4, which won last year's title on the last play, if you remember, over Salem, that 86-yard heroic touchdown pass by then freshman Maricus Banks to then senior Keontae Gray, or Maury in Class 5. You look at the field for both of those teams that they would have to see. Phoebus, by the way, would not play a Verona Dinwiddie in the state semis. They cross-bracket. A plays D, B plays C, I think it is. So they would see. We'll get to D and C coming up, which matters for those teams. But it feels like a Verona or Dinwiddie could really give a Phoebus a much harder time than what's lurking there in C and D, and even A, sorry, Greenwood and Salem, than what Maury has in front of it. Maybe Phoebus likes it that way, though, because they thrive under pressure. Close games maybe better than anybody.
Some teams don't play well against lesser opponents. I'm not saying who's lesser. Some teams, those teams that kind of play to the level of their opponent, sometimes that's what comes up. You wonder, why are we struggling against teams that are not real good? And then they blow out a team that's really good, play to level your opponent.
Sure.
I think Phoebus would have a little bit of a tougher time with opponent-wise, but Phoebus is to beat Phoebus, you have to play your best football. You have to hope they're not playing their best, and you need some breaks to go your way, which, I mean, I'm not saying anything earth-shattering. That's pretty much in any type of situation you get. But I think Maury has – and I don't want to use the word easier, because when you get to this level of playoffs,
it's tough.
Everybody is very good. There's a reason they're here. So I don't want to say it's easier. That's why when I see a 35-0 score or something, I'm like, what? That tells me not the team that scored 0, boy, they don't belong here.
Yeah.
It's that team that got that 35. I'm saying, boy, they are operating on all cylinders. They are really, really good at this point.
Yeah, well, Woodrow says Phoebus versus Verona will be a great game. I want to ask you, is that the best potential matchup we can get? State semi, state finals left out there. People are talking about we don't get a Maury Hayfield, maybe a Hayfield Oscar Smith. We haven't gotten all the 3, 2, and 1 brackets. We want to hear from all you out there. What's the best, your dream matchup for state semi, state finals that's lurking out there? Pick any team it can be in Class 6 and a Class 1. We want to hear from you out there. What is the best possible dream matchup that we could get here coming up in the state playoffs in December in Virginia high school football at 757 Saturday Sports Talk on CoVA Sports TV. We'll get to 4C and 4D in a moment as you see John Champs get ready to play Tuscarora coming up on Friday. The 1-seeded Knights and the 2-seeded Huskies. Oh, Sean Wayne chimes in. We gonna beat Hayfield. How about that? Oscar Smith laying it down. They're making it bold right there.
I want to see that matchup.
They're saying it. They're going to get it done.
Yeah. Hey, I don't doubt
All right,
Oscar
Hayfield.
Smith. I don't doubt Oscar. And I pray
Jeff
that's
Overton's going to Virginia Tech. You see it on the screen. Juju Preston going to Clemson. They got tons of talent. All right, that's going to rattle the cage of the Hawks, the Nova versus 757. Can they do it? Do they have the defense to slow down that juggernaut machine that put up 70-plus in the first half in the quarters? They haven't seen a defense like Oscar Smith, but the Tigers haven't seen an offense like Hayfield.
Well, that's true. I'm biased. I'm prejudiced. I want 757 to be in every state playoff game. You're the only one who can tell me that can happen.
Hate on him, Hayfield. I mean, Hayfield's one letter short of Hatfield, right? You just changed the Y to a T. Hate on him, Hayfield.
You know,
hate on him.
They do some shenanigans. You do shenanigans. So you're all together. I'm for that Smith coming out of the cage. And again, Smith's the type of team, they'll play you right out here in the parking lot on blacktop. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I know they would like to have a piece of Hayfield. But again, as coach, we always
they're not alone. A lot of people want a piece of them in a different way.
Let's take care of who's next. Don't worry about down the road. Because
if you worry too much about it, Highland Springs will bite you. They'll bite your ankles. Lauren Johnson and the Springers.
There's too many good teams that you'd have to look. And as coaches, it's one of the things we hate doing is getting kids focused on today. Stop worried about what's going to happen in 3 weeks. You got to take care of it. Like I always said, we got to be good today in practice. Forget the next game. We just want to make sure our things are motivated in practice. Because if it doesn't matter, then you know what, fellas, show up before the game or next game, and we'll just go from there. No, you got to get yourself ready in practice. That's why film work's very important. Kids got to look at film. They'll look at their technique when they do the game.
Melvin's saying it won't be close, but we'll see if we get there in December.
Melvin, don't get too crazy now.
The hashtag of Smith said is trending out there. I see on the social pages on the IG and the X and the Twitter, if you will. So we'll see if we get to that point. But let's go to 4C for a second. Let's give those teams some love. We've talked about Phoebus maybe on a collision course with a Verona or Dinwiddie, who will play today. If they put up 56, Ed might say, hold on now. We gave Verona's defense some love. Let's see if that Dinwiddie offense can go be up tempo and do some damage on that Verona defense. How about this John Champ Tuscarora game? We talked about it a little bit summertime during the year. They played last year. Tuscarora won it close, coming from behind. Champs offense, they call it Air Aldi. It's basketball on grass. Your type of offense. You love it with Brandon Pena throwing the ball to Mr. DeJuan Harvey. They make some plays in space. Tuscarora's defense, though, they hold Loudoun County to 7. They've got some ballers. They got some guys you'll see on the ticker going to college, like Dawson Poe going to Boston College and Tristan Teasdale who's going to NC State. They have some talent, next-level talent all over the field. Ejike Onuro going to Howard, among others. What's your feel on this game as Woodgrove couldn't keep up with Champ and Loudoun County didn't have the offensive mustard, couldn't muster it against that Tusky defense?
Again, I think it's a tough one to call. It's too close for me to call this far out from the game. It's almost a complete contrast in styles and how they play. And when you get into playoffs, a lot of people say if you're a solid defensive team, most playoff games are low scoring, so it's control the line of scrimmage. Yeah. And those are the type of teams that win. I don't know. When I hear air raid type offenses where they can
Air Aldi.
Well, this one's Air Aldi, where they could put it up and do it with authority, because it's not easy to do at the high school level. Line play has to be exceptional. I like to lean towards those teams because I do like the ball in the air. You get quicker things happening. You get away from the line. You get away from certain linebackers. Now it's your receivers against their defensive backfield. So I do like that opportunity. So let's see what happens on that. But it is too close to call.
You see this cart behind us? Ed Young's going to steal it here during a commercial break and go take a spin around. Is that our cart?
Is my name on that cart?
No, but he's going to run on the field with it. He's going to go everywhere with it.
Where did Jack go? Jack's
right here. He's right here. He's in front of you.
Okay, yeah, he shows up at the last
sun's
second.
blinding you. He didn't show up last second. He's been here.
We've got people making food. I smell food.
You smell food. He's hungry.
And what we got is a bottle of water. Okay? Yeah. So that's all I got. So
don't show that sponsor. Did they sponsor the show? Take the label off.
I'm just
don't
saying.
Do that.
These are conditions I can't work under. I haven't eaten in 3 days. I figure we would have food at the table.
We got football. We got football.
We don't need a football.
This is an old school one. You're kind right here.
Right.
Rico made a field goal, he said. Kicking field goals.
Rico, don't pull a muscle.
There you go.
Rico's the type of dude when he wakes up in the morning, stretches, and he's out for 2 weeks.
Wow. Dang.
You got
2 weeks.
All right, give him 2 days.
Wow.
All I'm saying is,
jeez,
a dude can't have a burger. I don't mind the water. I do need the water. But, game day doesn't have to go through this. They got a spread you wouldn't believe. Okay. Now I know we're not game day.
You're not Nick Saban.
And I'm not Nick Saban. I get all that.
Yeah.
But you got to start somewhere. That's all I'm going to say. Now I see why interns and whatever get changed a lot.
Well,
These young kids get on the move.
I was just told in my ear was that I don't know if Ethan or Jack or somebody buzzed somebody down on the field. Somebody just said they only give a burger to the guy that picked Salem over GW Danville. Oh, that would be me. 24-3 over the Eagles. You said last week it was personal with GW. I have nothing personal.
Yeah.
I don't hold grudges. This guy, however, does.
There's a story behind it.
I don't hold grudges with anybody from GW Danville whatsoever.
In private, ask me the story about why he's against Danville.
I have nothing against Danville. They're coming to my Virginia Preps Classic. DeMarcus Morrison, shout out. I'm going to get you your opponent and your date and stuff soon. And by the way, Larry Obama texted me about they're doing their basketball preview. I'm going to get you some stuff, Larry. I'm busy doing the show with this knucklehead right now. But I hold no grudges towards anyone. That's not me. It's not in my character or DNA. What do you have to say about the Spartans 24-3 over GW Danville? We have a bunch of rabid Salem fans, not even the ones from Virginia Beach, but from out in Salem, Virginia, that are upset at you for doubting their team. Shame on you. Shame on you.
I'm wondering if the two Salem teams would ever play each other.
Like the Giants and the Giants?
Yeah, and what that would be like, how that would be like, hey, we're Salem too. Would they get confused on the field?
Have a Salem
Would
picnic?
they go to the wrong bench? I wonder if that. I got to ask Francesca that.
Mike Francesca about the giant relay race and picnic. Well, guess what? You were wrong. I was right. What's new? However,
notice, hold on.
The next game. Go to the next game.
Notice how he spends 8-9 minutes on his wins. And
Go ahead.
We've gone right over my wins today where I beat him.
What happened in the other game?
I want you all to notice that, okay?
I didn't know Jefferson Forrest was missing 2 key starters. You did, though. He got inside info. I didn't. Sharando beats him 20-14.
Okay, Sharando won, and he picked Jefferson Forrest. Now, let's talk for 3 minutes about that.
You took the higher seed. I took a lower seed. I took a gamble.
It doesn't matter about seeds.
Listen, I'm a gambling man if you don't know this by now.
Yeah, trust me. I've been up close and seen it, and trust me, you need to be loony bin locked up.
Way to go, EJ Manuel and the Bills, baby. I'm rocking the Bills Mafia jersey today. Good job by the Bills, although EJ doesn't play for them anymore.
He wouldn't know what to do if the Mafia showed up at his house in a second. I've been there. I know
All right,
what to
enough
do.
of the babble. Salem, Sharando. Are you going to doubt Salem again, or am I going to doubt Sharando again?
I'm not telling you my pick right now.
Okay, be that way.
I'm gonna start doing mine secretly because you wait to see what I pick, and then you have your inside info, and then you pick against me.
Oh, look at this. Smith is there. Hey, Smith is bringing the smoke this morning on his social pages. Coach Wayne, we've coached against the best teams in the nation. Hayfield does nothing special. Oh, I love it. This is getting spicy, ladies and gents. Keep it going. They're spitting. What do they say? They spit smoke. What do they say? The kids say. They say the cool stuff. I don't know what they say.
None of this smoke.
Oh, none of this smoke. They're not spitting smoke.
Well,
they're spreading smoke. Okay.
This is why in my contract, if I don't get more money dealing with this knucklehead, I will probably walk.
Take a walk. Take a hike.
We know Hayfield and Smith could be a great match. Everybody wants a piece of Hayfield. We already know that, and we know why. And we'll talk about that later when it starts to come up. But I'm going to say this too.
Listen, we're talking close forward. It's become a Smith-Hayfield debate now. All of a sudden,
I don't doubt Oscar Smith one moment. They'll take on the world if somebody allows them to do it because they can back it.
I want to have you do the coin toss for that at JMU if we get that. You got to come up to Harrisonburg. That'd be cool. Let's do the coin toss.
You pay me a little bit of money, I'll do anything.
Whoa! I don't want to.
On the field, I mean, in terms of flipping a coin or whatever.
Ed Young was quoted as saying, "You pay me a little bit of money, I'll do anything."
I'm talking about on the football
anything.
field.
Wow, you're a sellout.
Okay,
if I've ever heard one.
I'm saying.
Wow,
we can't
anything, Jack. If you pay him a little bit of money, he'll do anything. Is what Ed just said. Anything.
Well, what I'm saying is this.
What does anything entail?
What?
Oh, he's got food for us. Is this for somebody? Look at this. Give it to him. Look. Oh, look at this. He's got. Look at this. We got tacos out here.
Oh,
look at this. Wow. Thank you. Look at this. We got food here.
We got food. Okay.
All right.
I don't know.
No, look at that. You got tacos.
I haven't eaten a taco in years, so I don't even know what's in it.
We can have that during a commercial break because we do have to pay some bills.
How do I know? Because these young kids now,
he's not going to poison you.
Jack should.
If I gave it to you, you'd be poisoned.
Yeah. How do I know?
I'll eat one to make sure. So if you die, I die with you. How about that?
I can see that.
That means you can die. You can die in peace.
Okay. Now this is called the appetizer, Jack. So now your next job is go around here and see who's got the burgers.
Are you going to eat it on screen or wait till we take a commercial?
Well done.
I can smell the burgers.
Ketchup. So that's your next.
Oh, look at you.
To do.
Jeez. Would you like a mint with that too?
I'm probably going to need it after in case There might be some
they're
babes.
going to have it in a press box in case some babes. Is that what you
In
said?
case some babes are out
They're not
here.
looking for you.
I got to get my kissing game right. So if there's some babes out here, we got to get it. We got to get it.
I don't
Hey,
think so.
that's another thing. Why do we have on this screen? I see a million dudes. Where's the women out there? We need
We have
women.
women that watch the show.
Mars needs women. We need women making comments about sports. That's what I want to see. I want to see the ladies up here get out there. Guys out there, get your girlfriend, get your wife. Some of you have a wife and a girlfriend. Get them both on here so
Your
we
fiance, your mistress, whoever, it is,
whatever. On, get them on here so they can talk sports with us too.
Your next door neighbor.
Whatever we can, whatever you got out there, let's do that because I want the ladies know sports too. So let's get them on there.
We've got Class 3 to Class 1 action coming your way, but we're going to take a timeout. Ed's going to jump into this grub. We're going to hear from some of the sponsors, and
Yeah,
we're also
you're
got
going to eat it first though because I don't know where it came from.
We're going to hear from Atlantis University coach Joel Williams when we come back. Though he spoke with Jack Lowe, also Coach Vincent Brown of Apprentice School coming your way. NFL picks 2 at 7:57 Saturday Sports Talk on CoVA Sports TV. Stay tuned. Now this from One Life Fitness.
What is more? Is it more reps, more strength, more stamina? We say it's all of that, but it's greater than just what's in the mirror. It's about improving your mental and physical health. More is a feeling of achievement, fulfillment, confidence. It's looking better, feeling better, being better. And it's our mission to get you there because here you are more. One Life Fitness.
Pain and Gain, your one-stop shop for all things field hockey. Located in Princess One Shopping Center, Virginia Beach, we carry everything you need on the turf, from black sticks, turf shoes, mouth guards, and much more. Try out your stick before you buy in our synthetic turf area. Pain and Gain. Embrace the pain, enjoy the game. All right, I'm here with Coach Williams from Atlantis University. Coach getting ready to play in the Virginia Beach Neptune Bowl tomorrow afternoon here at the Virginia Beach Sportsplex. Take me through what this team has done so far this season.
Well, this season has been a very good season for us. Last year we didn't have a season, so this was almost like a rebuilding process. We're 75% freshmen, so we've come a long way with development and building the guys up, getting them to understand the type of football that we play. We've completed our first full season. Right now we're at 5-6. We ended the season on, and so far we've been growing together as a family and becoming a more cohesive unit.
Absolutely. So we were just talking off camera about, the way college football is now with NIL and stuff. Can you take me through a little bit for the people at home, kind of what you told me about you guys starting to develop and how you're sort of new to the whole process?
Yeah, so Atlantis is relatively new to athletics, collegiate athletics. We're a small school. We have about 500-600 students in total. We have about 240 in athletics. This is only our 4th year with athletics. This is only our 2nd full football season. And so as we begin to put things together and build, we're going to be looking forward to getting into some NIL stuff in the next couple of years or so. Right now, we're just trying to make sure that we can be competitive and that we can be solid and build a program that is filled with integrity and just leadership.
Absolutely. So outside of NIL, what would you say is the next big step for this program in the coming years to keep moving, improving?
I think the next big step for us is to be able to make an addition with all of our sports. We brought in 2 new female sports, which helps us out a lot with our enrollment and our recruitment. And I think in the next couple of years, we're really going to look at maybe bringing in some competitive softball, which is a better avenue to recruit with for female sports. And for the most part with that, just continue to try to build and be competitive.
Absolutely. So moving on more so towards the game tomorrow, can you tell me about maybe some players that might have an impact tomorrow and some key guys to watch out for?
Sure, man. We have Tristan Ramsey. He's one of our freshmen from Miami Booker T. Washington. He's been in a couple of state championships between Champaign and Miami Booker T. We have Tucker Manarino, who has played for us some good minutes at defensive line. Adam Papatankos has played for us. He's from Venice. And these guys are good young guys that are building game in, game out, week after week with their process and their development.
Absolutely. I don't know how much you can actually say, but can you take me through a little bit what you've seen in the film preparing for Apprentice School?
Apprentice School, they run a real tight 3-3 defense, and that seems to be a problem depending on what you have offensively and offensive line and whatnot. But for the most part, I think we're going to be competitive in the trenches, and I think that we'll probably match up more than we actually think we can in the perimeter.
Absolutely. Coach, thank you for joining me.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And we're back here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk on CoVA Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You just heard from Coach Jael Williams of Atlantis University, which will be taking on the Apprentice School 2 o'clock kickoff here from the Plex in Virginia Beach. Yours truly, Matt Hatfield, and the coach, Ed Young, will be on the call for that. Jack Lowe, our sideline reporter, as people are filing in here. Tailgate getting ready, closer to the action coming up at 2 o'clock today. We might go a little bit longer today to about 12:30, maybe 12:45-ish before we sign off today. Give you a little extended bonus coverage of our 757 Saturday Sports Talk leading up to kickoff. And you'll hear from Apprentice School head coach Vincent Brown coming up in just a bit here on the program. But, Ed, we left off with the Class 4 picture. I think you got Phoebus as your favorite to win the championship, do you not? I do at the moment still as well, but I'm not discounting a Dinwiddie, a Verona, anybody else, even those teams in C and D like Tuscarora, John Champ, Sharando, and Salem that remain. But let's move it now to Class 3 as they're still talking about that Oscar Smith-Hayfield game. Will be over in the middle of the second quarter, says Woodrow. Woo, my goodness. There's some spice. They're throwing darts at each other. They're throwing not forks at each other, but knives at it. Well, don't throw knives. Be careful now. Be careful. Let's go to the action that is taking place in Class 3 as we move it on to that. And right now, it's interesting because Lafayette has been just smashing opponents all year long, as you know, Ed. And it looks like that's going to remain the case if nobody can slow their running game down, because right now their running game with Braden Smalls, who came on with me on the hash with Hatfield. See, if you come on with me, you don't lose the next week. Andre Twain, if you come on the hash show with me, you might have beaten Salem. You come on with this guy, dangerous things happen for you, sadly. Unfortunately, we hate that for our guests of the program. But that's why we don't get too many return guests, I guess. Lafayette will take on Norcom now. 35-21 winner with the Greyhounds over the Tab Tigers. John Byron's team pulled off the upset against Hopewell. Could not do it in another matchup here. What's your feeling on Norcom and Lafayette? Because I felt like all year long Norcom had the athleticism, the size, some of the pieces to give Lafayette some problems, but after the way their defense struggled against Tab a little bit, and we know Tab gave a good game effort, I'm not as sure because Ball Mahog, he had a good game. Sebastian Nix ran back a pick for Lafayette. Tyree Wilson, Breon Stokes running the ball, so they added Wilson to that running game to go with Smalls and Stokes. Smalls going to William & Mary, by the way. It feels like this is all Lafayette in this game. And sorry, Norcom, I'm sure you can hear the chants of our man Darryl go on back to Portsmouth, right? That might be what they say at Lafayette and Williamsburg, because it feels like the Rams are just going to be too much for anybody until maybe, just maybe, a team that came to Portsmouth and beat the Greyhounds that I saw in September, Thomas Jefferson of Richmond, who we'll get to in Region 3B in a second. What's your feel? Is it all Lafayette, or does Norcom have a chance in this game, a legitimate chance?
I got to give Norcom a chance, but here you're talking about a Lafayette team that we're talking about Smith, Maury, Green Run, Phoebus, teams that have been here before, been here, done it, keep doing it. Lafayette's in that same category, and they've done it at a high level, and they've done it well.
They want another crack at Liberty Christian, who might be lurking for them in December at Liberty University.
And they run the ball well. They don't make a lot of mistakes. When they throw it, it's caught. The key for Norcom, and Norcom has a lot of first-timers who this is new territory for them.
Sure.
So they've got to feel their way through, which is probably why you see that wave up and down, up and down.
Great point. Remember, last year they were deemed ineligible for the playoffs because of their fight that took place in the Phoebus postseason game the year before.
Right.
So you're right. This is a lot of these players, this is their first time on the stage, and they had a lead. Tab got it closer to 28-21 before the Greyhounds put it away. But, yeah, you do wonder if they have the total package. We know Matthew Allen, one of our recent Chicho's Pizza 757 football player of the week winners. Yeah, by the way, you got a plaque coming to you, Matthew. You have a great first name and a Chicho's Pizza voucher. We gave Coach McCain his Il Giardino Coach of the Week voucher. We got some more from you coaches out there like Elliot Duty and Andy Lynn and Donnell Brown that also won that award this year. But what is this you got? Is this lemonade? What is that? You going to take a sip on the air? Look at that. You got wings? Look at this. He's giving you a feast of stuff.
We got.
Wow.
Look,
Nando's, one of our
Rico
sponsors.
went out
Nando's.
and got a fifth of Hennessy.
That's not
and he
Hennessy.
gave me a shot of it. So
wow.
This is cheers to Rico for getting this.
Okay, Jack brought it to you. You want to thank him too?
And Jack brought me a wing ding doodle.
Yeah,
there's our wing ding doodle.
That's in honor of the late Tony Mercurio.
Yep.
It's a slapper dapper sasher too.
You know, we might keep Jack under contract. There's a good chance this guy's coming back next week.
Re-signed. Okay. There you go.
Rico, I don't know where the hell Rico will be next week. He shows up here. He shows up there. We don't know what he is.
He's rocking his Commander's gear. We might pick them later in the show, by the way.
I'm not holding that against
them. They play the Cowboys. America's dream, as I call them. They're not America's team. They're America's dream.
America's dream. But that Dallas is America's nightmare. You're right.
Yeah.
And the Commodores are the
Commanders. That's Maury's the Commodores.
Commodores. It's all the same thing.
No,
okay?
Commando is not that
They
either.
have my respect.
Don't mean Commando. They do.
I had Washington third in the division.
Okay.
Washington will win the division.
I had some futures to win the division. I was a little upset about the Philly loss.
Right.
Not
they're losing the playoffs, but I'm giving Washington.
I wasn't invested that particular night, but I was gonna have a nice payday had the futures come through for that.
But I've got, like I said, now once again,
the win is coming.
I haven't seen Rico drink any of this, so I don't know if it's poison in here. I don't know what it is.
Oh, he took two. He said he
took two.
He drank two. He claims. Yeah, he drank two.
Rico took the whole bottle.
Okay. Let's move down to 3B as you have a sip of your drink and your wings. You can eat
Lafayette, like we said, and I don't want to disrespect the team, but Norcom's line play, they got some power kids in there. If they really play their best effort of the year, I think they give Lafayette a problem. But if they don't,
the wind is so gusty right now. My laptop is shaking, ladies and gents. Thomas Jefferson of Richmond, a winner over Skyline. The Chili, it's been extinguished, 38-7. Meanwhile, Kettle Run and Armstrong. What a ball game this was, Edward, as it was 36-34. Cougars prevailing in a thriller against the Armstrong Wildcats. Now Kettle Run, TJ Richmond. Somebody asked me this on my Facebook on the Hash with Hatfield. It was after we finished on the air. Does Kettle Run have enough defensively to stop TJ in this game? I'm not sure they do after this score here. And TJ, because of those speedsters like Maury Goff on the outside, the Buckingham transfer, and Rashad Cherry, their quarterback, who's now healthy, dual threat, I think their offense, to a smaller extent than Maury, their defense gets forgotten about how stingy and consistent it has been this year, and we've seen it 2 playoff games in, just 7 points allowed. Kettle Run has some playmakers in the backfield now. They've got guys, Colton Quaker being one of them at running back, and certainly Kettle Run from the quarterback perspective, they've got another guy in Jacob Mulhern who can beat you with his arm and his legs, but this is a big, tall order for them on the road in Richmond.
Yeah, I think I'm looking at Armstrong as, again, I mean, not Armstrong, but Jefferson as one of those teams of destiny. Like we talked about Briar Woods earlier, they're putting a lot of things together. They're finding ways to win. They're winning in different ways. Kettle Run, you could say the same idea with them. I went back and forth in that game. I was on Armstrong's bandwagon earlier, and at the last second, I went with Kettle Run in that game. Now coming up, I'm kind of
He went with them
TJ.
last second because he saw my pick. That's why he did that.
No, I think it was before I saw your pick. I just thought TJ for sure. TJ beat Armstrong earlier, if I'm not mistaken. That's obviously a big run. And now here comes Kettle Run against another Richmond-type team, but this one's a little bit stronger, a little bit more power in terms of what they do. I would lean right now, I'll be leaning towards Jefferson.
Now, Ed had Liberty Christian all over Heritage of Lynchburg, 33-8 in his picks. It was 35-14. He almost got it on the nose there. He took Turner Ashby in a close one by a whisker, 28-27 over Allegheny. I had it 40-24. My score was almost on the button, 44-20, as I believe Bo Baylor had not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 TD runs in that win for the Knights. Read about Turner Ashby's win on VirginiaPreps.com from our man Robert Edmonds. He'll have a recap up soon if he doesn't have it up already. But, Edward, I look at this and I say, Liberty Christian is a machine right now. It's going to be hard to beat them, and our man Woodrow agrees. It's Liberty Christian Academy, and then there's everybody else. I think he means in Class 3 specifically here. LCA, not just Gideon Davidson running the ball, but their defense has improved. It showed in that Heritage game. They've got a little bit of a passing game now to augment and complement what Davidson does as a bruising running back. Line of scrimmage where they win games and dominate, led by Easton Ware up front. Got a couple other all Seminole District performers on that line of scrimmage. Turner Ashby's going to have to really bring it because last year when these two teams squared off in the playoffs, Ed, it was not a pretty sight for Turner Ashby as Liberty Christian was able to win comfortably 63-34 12-14 in the region final. They're trying to change that this year. It is a brand new year, brand new season, different circumstances, but I'm not picking against LCA in this game. Are you?
No, I was on LCA's bandwagon beginning of the year. I say a showdown between them and Lafayette in the finals.
Do you? You think they get by TJ or Kettle Run? Lafayette's going to just
again, that's what I had at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
You know, you got to let these games happen because we had some undefeateds get knocked off yesterday. So in different regions, so you just got to play the games. Yeah. But Turner Ashby, I kind of was not on their bandwagon, their parade earlier, and then I went with them yesterday.
You got to do more digging on them.
Yeah, I'm going to have to do a little bit more digging on them because I'll tell you what, if I'm Turner Ashby, oh man, I want LCA so bad because that one sounds like a run-it-up score.
Yeah.
Last year, so we owe them something, and we're geared towards them. In other words, coaching staff coming in the season knowing that down the road we're going to play LCA. This is what we're going to need to do. We'll take care of our opponents, which they have in front of them, and now we're waiting for this is the matchup they've been waiting for. So I'm not going to discount them. Who am I going to pick? I'll tell you right now, right off the bat, I got LCA. I said at the beginning of the year, I'm not going to change it now, but won't be surprised if Turner Ashby knocks them off.
As we go down to Class 3 Region D and get ready to go to Class 2 here, boy, I tell you what, something's smelling good out here. That barbecue, it says wings. I know you're ready to dig into them after a quick commercial.
I might even let you have one of them.
Oh, that would be so nice of you. Very kind. William Byrd, have you heard? Bird's the word, not just Lloyd C. and Elsie Byrd,
but that's
William
what I'm saying.
Byrd, the Terriers.
What word is better? What bird word is better, LC or William? And when they get together, do they talk about birds? Well, I got to wonder about
you are a different bird. You know that?
You got to wonder about these. See, I come up with these
a really
inside
different
questions.
Bird.
You just do superficial.
You are a different bird. You know that?
I just wonder what they do with the
Heritage plays Heritage. And the winner plays Heritage. When
when the Heritages play each other, I wonder who's going to lead.
Lynchburg played Liberty Christian. If they played Heritage Newport News and Heritage Leesburg, the winner would play the other Heritage, and it'd be a for your Heritage.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Man. What Heritage would they leave then?
Can't deal with this guy. Bird wins it. They outlast Abingdon 28-23.
I picked Abingdon.
Lord Botetourt, I tell you what, Jamie Harless, I'm not doubting you anymore. You're my guy over there at Botetourt. Does an awesome job, and they beat Magna Vista 35-19. The defense was able to make some adjustments and corrections from Northside, who basically just smoked them in terms of scoring the ball on them. It was actually 36-19, 36-19. I tell you what, they got the running game, multiple backs there, Quentin Jones and Tristan Overbay. I look at Botetourt's running game here, and I think it could do it again against Byrd. Now, they played earlier in the season, Ed. Botetourt won that matchup. It was a hard-fought, gritty type of defensive game. The gritty type of game, kind of like that Madison-Westfield game, but even lower scoring, 21-13. Byrd won the region championship last year, and they beat Botetourt 41-14 on their way to it. So there's revenge in both minds of these kids. Byrd for this year losing to Botetourt, avenge that loss. And Botetourt for those seniors, they don't want to have their seasons and careers end to the team that knocked them out last year.
True. And if you're going to put stock on past games, I'm going to go by what just happened, not what happened a year ago.
So you give Botetourt the edge?
I would, based on that, I would give him the edge. But, I don't know if I've been going on William Byrd, been with them all year. So if I doubt him again, who knows?
Do we get the Byrd defense from the quarterfinals or the one from the semifinals? Might tell us a lot. And the same can be true for Botetourt. Gave up 41 in the quarters, much better against Magna Vista, neutralizing their speed in the semis.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Again, what team is going to show up? You got these teams that are going up and down, and I think a lot of that has to be stated in terms of who's been here before. All in close games, I like to give the edge to the team that has the most veterans back from being there before. In this case, we're talking
Botetourt and Byrd, who's got more veterans. We had Botetourt a couple spots higher in the preseason rankings than Byrd. I think we moved Byrd ahead when Botetourt got tripped up. So it's an evenly matched game.
It is.
I said this last week about Verona Huguenot, and boy, was I proven wrong. I'd be surprised if either team blew out the other. I would be surprised if either team won by 21 plus. Now, we saw what Verona did to Huguenot, much to my surprise. Not that they won, but by the margin. Class 2, and we'll get ready to take a break after 2A, and then we'll come back and do 2B through 1D, let Ed get a couple wings in. And you'll also get a chance to hear from the head coach of the Apprentice School in one, Vincent Burnham. Pretty much take care of the local angle of 7-5-7 teams here. Pocosin, Central Lunenburg. Pocosin was in a dogfight in this one, Ed. I got texted by the new Pocosin basketball coach, my man Jeremy Jordan, formerly of Grafton, giving me some updates last night. And the real key play was it was 8-6 Lunenburg at the half. Surprise to both of us. Will Thomas's Chargers came ready to play on the road. Snap out of the back of the end zone on fourth down resulted in a safety with 4:51 to go in the third quarter. It knotted it up at 8 apiece. And the real crucial play in this game, 3rd and goal from the 15. Pocosin, what are they known for? A running game, right? Not throwing the ball. They go to the air with Eli Tyndall, the young man who's known for his baseball prowess. He was hurt this year. Remember, Pocosin was down to its 3rd-string quarterback when Tyndall got hurt. He's going to have a baseball future at VMI. Well, he's able to throw the ball, 15-yard pass on 3rd and goal to Dom Galakak. Love that name, Dom Galakak. Sounds like he's from out of this galaxy. Touchdown, Pocosin. They go on to win the game 22-8. Your thoughts as they take on King William, the number 7 seed, a very live 7 seed. You and I both said when the playoffs started, watch out for King William. They lost at Pocosin last year, region semis. They both have history of playing each other in the playoffs, and now we get it, a 1 versus a 7, not your typical 7 in the region title. Unload.
No, I'm smiling at this. King William's not a 7. King William put some point. King William score in warm-ups. They can put some points on the board too now. Talk about all these big powerhouses.
24 and 21. Is that going to be enough if they're in that area in the late high teens to beat Pocosin? I would say actually they're known for their offense, but they're going to have to really be sharp early in this game. Remember, they got to the game last year on the bus. I was there. Their bus got there late and they never got loose, so they're going to have to change the whole routine for this matchup with Pocosin Day Thanksgiving.
First of all, they got to get a new bus driver.
Yeah,
that'll be number 1.
Well, I don't think it was the bus driver's fault. I think they got behind an accident, which you can't help.
You got to make sure take the shortcut, no accidents.
All right.
Pocosin's a ball control team. You get behind them early, you're in trouble, especially if you don't throw it. Now, King William does have offense, so anybody that team is going to get behind, I'd put some money on King William that they could come back. But Pocosin, again, they're one of those type of teams reminiscent of Cox, Lafayette. Ball control's good. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They don't do dumb things. They don't take a lot of gambles. They short fire stuff. Speaking of that, taking a lot of crazy gambles, you need to learn from them in terms of betting. But I would say in this game, I just keep looking at King William and of course I'm doing a lot of what they've done in the past. But Pocosin, this is not new territory for them either. So it's a game I'm not going to be able to pick until later on in the week. I got to get a better feel because I can really go either way the more we talk about that game.
Hey, Rico, I see now watching Garrett and Jack throw the football over there. Why neither one of them played quarterback in high school? I've now noticed that neither one's got the trigger man. Yeah, they're not quite at QB level. And if we depended on you to go over there and make a catch from either one of them, we'd be in trouble too.
That was my position in high school. I was back in the day, they called it flanker.
You were a flanker? He was a flanker in high school. Wow.
100 pounds lighter, and I could run. I could run. Trust me, I could run.
I got to find that footage.
That footage would be good. And defensive end because I love hitting people.
It was definitely in black and white, that's for sure.
No, there's some color in there too. There's some color.
Okay.
And I played on the defensive line. I was the end because I love hitting people. That was the easiest thing in the world to do is play defensive end.
Still do to this day. We'll take a time.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't mind hitting you right now.
Well, that's very nice of you. I'll just steal your wings when you're not looking. We're gonna take a time out. Oh, those burgers smell good here. Come on out. Tailgate kickoff at 2:00 for Atlantis University and the Apprentice School here at the Sportsplex. We've had football this year with Atlantic Shores, but we haven't had college football. It's the one time a year it comes to Virginia Beach. Come on out. 2:00. You'll see some great action. Ed and I will be on the call for that. We've got NFL picks coming up in a bit. We'll finish up our playoff wrap with regions 2B, 2C, 2D, as well as Class 1 with regions A, B, C, and D. But we have another timeout coming your way. And then you'll hear from Vincent Brown, head man of the Apprentice School. Cheers to Ed and all of you out there tuning in on CoVA Sports TV and wherever you're watching, whether it be Facebook, IG, Virginia Preps, Apple, Spotify, LinkedIn, all the different sources. We thank you for tuning in. Now this, though, from some of the sponsors that make it possible for us to do this with you, including our friends at Town Bank. Stay tuned.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. They're looking for an actual personal relationship, and that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us, and the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that Infernal Revenue Service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. You need John Maynard. PFP, LUTCF, EA, all those initials behind his name mean he's qualified to work on your taxes. He's an ATA, accredited tax advisor. He's an ATP, accredited tax preparer. He's a fellow at NTPI, the National Tax Practice Institute. And if all that weren't enough, he's also been voted the best of Norfolk and the best of Virginia Beach awards. John Maynard has been professionally trained in tax preparation and representation. He brings to the table over 30 years' experience in federal and state returns. He delivers personalized, one-on-one service, and he's a certified electronic filer. The IRS likes electronic filers. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service, 455-6763.
All right, I'm here with Coach Vincent Brown from the Apprentice School ahead of their matchup against Atlantis University for the Neptune Bowl here at the Virginia Beach Sportsplex coming up tomorrow afternoon. Thanks for joining me, Coach. Talk to me about y'all's accomplishments so far this season.
Well, thank you, and thank you for having us. This season has been a whirlwind, right? It has been some adversity, has been some ups and downs, but hats off to our young men, to our coaching staff. They've done everything that we've asked them to do to get to this point, to go 500 and be able to compete in the third annual Neptune Bowl. So we're looking forward to it. We're excited about it. We're enjoying the day, and we're going to be ready for tomorrow.
What would you say are some key players to watch out for the Apprentice School front as we go into the bowl game tomorrow?
Well, the most important thing we start with is our special teams. So Logan Eastman is a great field goal kicker. He's our punter. He's our Mr. Everything. So we want to be sharp on special teams. But when you talk about special teams and Logan, you talk about the surrounding characters. Everyone has to do their job. The other 10 men have to do their job in order for us to be successful. We have a high-powered offense once we give our quarterback time in Grant Swinger. He's back. He's healthy. The guys are excited about him fighting to get back for this game, and so he's very excited about it as well. We have some dynamic playmakers on the outside in T.K. Petty and Josiah Beecham. And then in our backfield, Kobe Messick and our other running back, Marty Braxton. We look forward to those guys doing everything that they need to do. But it starts up front with our offensive linemen and Alden Kuster and Hayden Moody. So if those guys can do exactly what we coached them to do, we look forward to having some explosive plays. On the defensive side of the ball, well, our defense is led by our middle linebacker, Chase Gaines, right? He's everything that a player we need out of a player. He does. He shows up, right? He's in the weight room. He handles his business off the field, and it shows out there, and he makes plays. And so he's going to get that defense set up, and then we're going to look for our playmakers like Sincere Hawkins, our safety in the back end, and some of our playmakers up front, Roshad Phelps, to get to the quarterback and put some pressure. And then we need our corners to step up, too, and be big. We know they like to pass the ball in the spread offense. So as a whole, everyone needs to step up and get ready to play.
Absolutely. So I know you probably can't say too much, but as far as looking at the film room with Atlantis University, what are some things you may have noticed that you may need to either exploit or kind of watch out for coming up for tomorrow?
Well, we know when you talk about the state of Florida, right, you talk about playmakers, right?
Yeah.
So we know they have playmakers on that side of the ball. We have to be crisp and sharp in our defensive coverages, and then we have to be able to run the football on offense as well, right, in order to open up our pass. And so if we can do those things, they have some big boys. We've seen their tackles around 6'4" and 6'5", so we got to be able to put some pressure on their quarterback as well. We know he's not the most mobile quarterback, but he's strong. He has a strong arm. So if we're able to take care of the football, which is priority, be great on special teams, and finish on defense, then I look forward to a successful day.
Absolutely. So Apprentice School over the last few years, I'd say, has really been on the uprise. You guys have been kind of improving more and more by the year. What would you say is the next big step over the next couple of years for Apprentice in order to become more of a respected college football school around the town?
Well, as you know, right now, we have really changed the mode of Apprentice. Before we took over the program, Apprentice was looked at as the homecoming game, right? And so now we're getting national, we're getting news, local news, statewide news, just like every other team. Our goal is to be a predominant Division III team in the NCAA. Right now we're independent, but we're working on, our administration is working on getting us an opportunity to move into a conference. I think the biggest issue from the outside is that our guys go to work, but they're in school and work, so they're not just workers, right? You have to be NCAA eligible to participate and play for our program, and you get your regular eligibility just like all the Division III teams. The only difference is our guys are going to put in 8 hours in the classroom or 8 hours on the work front. That's the only difference. So I think a lot of the country is starting to understand that now and understand the great opportunity that we present for young people and giving them opportunity after the game of football is done and setting them up for the real world.
Also, another question I have, kind of on the NIL front, obviously over the last few years has really become a thing. With Apprentice School, it kind of in a way already has been a thing. You know, you guys kind of pay your players to work. So how's that affected your school and recruiting now that all the other schools are kind of offering these money to these players?
Well, you see it on the highest levels, right? The NIL, I think they still need to go in and do a couple things, because you have certain players that's making astronomical money, and then you have certain guys who maybe is just making a little bit because they're on the team. But it trickles down all the way down. So for us, how it affects us, it really doesn't, because our guys are working to set themselves up, but they're also receiving an education, right? They're working towards a degree. So it's going to be interesting how that unfolds. But for us, I think I'm a players coach, so I love it. I think the players, they help build a lot of these stadiums around the country, and they deserve to get compensated. Their likeness has been used throughout all the video games, commercials. They deserve to get compensated. So I'm all for the players getting compensated for their play.
Absolutely. So final question for you. What is your final message to your team in the locker room going into a big bowl game like this, you know, kind of preparing, especially for your seniors, their final time doing it, kind of preparing them for one last big game?
The most important thing I told our team is live in the moment and have fun amongst each other, but do it the right way. Be disciplined. Let's execute. Let's finish. And that's the most important thing, right? We need to go out there on all phases and have as much fun as this is, and we're embracing every bit of it. We're about to go out and do a team event right after this, and I want them to enjoy it. But we have a ball game to play, and this is the reason you get to this ball game, by all the work you have done to this point. So let's go out and finish it the right way, and let's take it back home.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And we're back here at the Virginia Beach Sportsplex, site of today's Neptune Bowl. You just heard from Vincent Brown, the head football coach of the Apprentice School, with our man Jack Lowe, alongside the coach Ed Young. I am Matt Hatfield. Come on out. We've got kickoff coming your way at 2 o'clock. Again, we'll go a little bit longer than we normally do today, to about maybe 12:30, 12:45 here on CoVA Sports TV. Interact with us. We're all over the web, and we always appreciate your feedback, comments, interaction. Ed, it should be a fun game today, and a lot of 757 flavor. I got a chance to chat with Coach Brown as well on the Hash with Hatfield podcast, and it's neat to see some of these local players, how they've changed. You see all the time, maybe some you've coached as a high school player, and then they go to college. You've coached against some of these players. I know we've been to a couple college basketball games lately, like the Old Dominion game, Virginia Wesleyan, CNU, fill in the blank. You'll be at Hampton to see your guy, Ivan Thomas, Norfolk State. List goes on and on. But it is kind of neat to see how they've changed from when they were junior, senior year as high school players to now as college veterans in some cases, if they're not, an incoming freshman.
Yeah, seeing the growth of kids, especially if I remember them elementary school. I've seen kids come to my basketball camp, Young Star basketball camp, coached them or coached against them in high school, and then see them go into the college level, and then a couple able to go from the college level to playing professionally, like overseas. Dontel Bright comes to mind, Andre Jones, guys of that nature. It's really, when you have your own, it's really neat to see that progression. And sometimes I get a lot of the question from people, well, why does some of those kids keep moving on and others don't? Number one, God-given ability. That's number one. Not everybody has that God-given ability. Number two, they've done something with that God-given ability. But a big factor in that is the mentality of those kids, work ethic of those type of kids. They don't take nothing for granted. They know every game, every day, every practice is something new, a way to show that you can get better. So it's neat to see that. Today in the Apprentice School, we're going to see a lot of local kids that I know you interviewed when they were in high school, seeing them when they were younger, and get to see what they do on at the college level. Now, it's not Division I.
Mm-hmm.
Understand all that, but it's still the next level. Not every kid plays the next level. Let's get that straight. And not every kid is good enough to play next level. Let's get that straight. So it'd be neat to see them out here now where they're playing Atlantis out of Miami of Florida. We don't really know any of those kids. I'm almost positive there's no Virginia kids, period, from the state on Atlantis, if I'm not mistaken. The roster I saw did not list hometown, so there's probably nobody. So, and we definitely want to see local win, obviously, out here. But for people who really don't have anything planned today, we need to come out and watch this game. If you can't, we're going to bring it to you on the air here at CoVA Sports TV.
It's good to support local sports in our area. So
yes,
come on out, whether you're a fan, whether you're a fan of the Apprentice School or not, or if you support Old Dominion, Norfolk State, Hampton, Virginia Wesleyan, CNU. It can be anything. Tides, Admirals, high school sports. It's always good for the community, the local sports action. We love that.
Speaking of Admirals, we got to get out to some Admirals.
We do have to.
We hit the playoffs last year. I said this year we're doing regular season.
We did. Ed's got a lot of free time on his hands, folks. So if you want
to
invite him to your practice out there, we had our man Dan Malloy on. We got to get Dan on the show, too. He's been a frequent commenter guest. We got to get him on. Caleb Kimbrough from Hampton City. We got a list of people we got to get on.
Team, I'll follow them online. They're getting better. Yeah. They're getting better each game, which is all we can ask for as coaches. He's having experience too. It's his first time being the head man at the college level, so he's handling it well, learning as he goes. Different scenarios and situations coming up, so he's doing well. And we always appreciate anybody, especially Dan, that gives us a little bit of flavor too, and chiming in. That it helps our people who see us that we're getting those hits and likes and subscriptions, which are all free.
Yep, they're free to subscribe. It doesn't cost a dime.
It may help us someday get paid, so that's why we need you to keep doing that.
Tell us your predicted score for the Neptune Bowl today, Atlantis University and Apprentice School, and also tell us your predicted score for Ohio State, Indiana in college football today. Let us know what you think is going to happen.
And if you get the Neptune Bowl score correct, Hatfield will send you something from Virginia Preps.
Oh, I was about to say, I thought you were going to say I'm going to send 100 free sandwiches in the mail or something like you like to do.
Not that crazy, but you got a shirt or something for him.
I can give him a shirt.
You've stolen enough merchandise over the years.
I've not stolen. I'm not stolen, but we do have
your
some
story.
Free swag.
Stick to it.
We do have some free swag. Let's get back to our last little bit of playoff. Oh, we got a score prediction already. Our man Lynn Burke chimes in. Ohio State 35, Indiana 14. He's representing his proud state of Ohio.
21. I say
both
21.
Both he and Larry Rabama are proud Bobcats. I won't say it's not been the greatest of years so far on the gridiron for Ohio U or in hoops. I know Lynn's saying speak for your team. I don't have a team in the fight for college football, but I know he's probably rooting for the Buckeyes
now
today.
I see why Lynn's wife has a statement. She always says to
what does Charlotte say?
Charlotte says, "OU." Now I understand what she's saying.
I
thought it was for some other reasons. Son of a gun. Okay.
It's funny.
All right, that's a good
Pretty
one.
Good.
Charlotte,
and he says he doesn't like Ohio State. Wow.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said OU, not OSU.
But I know what Lynn says. You know, he doesn't say it to the wife. Google me like Kurt Signetti. But if you need to know who Lynn is, just Google him. Google him.
Or our man with the Lions.
Oh, Dan Campbell.
Yeah, because him and his wife,
there you go.
Sweet loving.
You love that. You love that.
Dan Campbell's real, baby. He's real.
Is he coach of the year right now?
He's what we need. The Raiders got to get Dan Campbell. He's perfect for the Raiders.
He's not
perfect.
Why would he leave for that mess?
What do you want to be in Detroit for? The place stinks and there's pollution in Detroit.
Wow.
There's a lot of bang bang in Detroit. I mean, come on, go to
bang bang.
Las Vegas.
Did you say that?
Believe it? Well, there is. I mean, what do you want me to do? Tell lies on the air?
No, but
anybody that knows me, I tell the truth. You don't like it, you deal with it. It ain't mine.
Wow.
What did the guy say in the movie one time? You can't handle the truth. That's your problem, not mine.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, the truth is, and sometimes it hurts. We are running out of time on the show, and we need to finish up our playoff
We'll go
brackets.
extended. Who's the producers? Who's our leader? We'll just take more time.
We're without a leader right now.
Chuck's doing a lot of things. He's running around the parking lot.
He
He's
is.
making sure things are going right.
Yeah.
He won't know we're going overboard.
Yeah, he doesn't matter.
Nick left us after 5 minutes after he set up everything. He's good.
He's
We got
tailgating.
Jack here. Jack has to do one thing: is before the show is over, still find me that hamburger.
Oh, you still want a
Well
burger?
done.
It's in the press
And
box.
he's doing a great job. I mean, he
It's in
got the
press box.
wings.
It's
He
somebody
got
else's fault if you get
tacos,
if you get it.
and Rico got us the
Careful-
shot of
careful
Hennessy.
what you do.
So-
No, it's not Hennessy. It's lemonade. Be nice. They're filming you, so what you say can and be used
All I
against
want to
you
know is
in a court of law, whether you
if
support
you
or don't
film me,
support Hayfield.
I need a release form, and I need money to be filming me.
No.
I did not give permission to be filmed.
Buckingham and Strasburg are playing in the Region 2B final. You've been all on the Buckingham Knights to win this region. You've got Riverheads out, who usually makes the state championship. Pocosin in Class 2. I know you're going with them to make the championship. Buckingham, Strasburg. Who would you give the edge to without revealing your pick right now? Strasburg.
Well, if I give an edge, then I'm revealing my pick.
No, it's just who would
See,
you
you're
give the
always
edge
trying to
going
pick
in?
my head so that you can fix yours.
No. I just want to know, looking at what's transpired in the first two rounds, Madison County was the 8 seed. Nice, fluffy story. They're out. See you later. 27-7, Buckingham dumps them out. Who would you give the edge to going into the game? Would you give it to Buckingham because they are undefeated? Or would you say Strasburg might be playing a smidge better right now going in? I'm not telling you to give your pick out. Golly dang.
Well, I'll make it very easy. If you're
Make it very
undefeated, you
haven't
have an
lost.
edge.
You have an edge.
You haven't lost.
Well, what if two undefeated teams play each other? Then who has the edge in that case?
Now you got to go strength of schedule for sure. There, you got to look at strength of schedule and what have they
Is
done?
Strasburg's strength of schedule superior to Buckingham's to the point where you would give them the edge, or do you say no? I give it to Buckingham.
No, right
because-
now, I would say going into it. I
You know,
gotta
the
look-
one loss was 7-6 to Clark County, who lost to Madison, who lost to Buckingham. So you could use the transitive property, but that sometimes gets you in trouble. Me
Yeah,
too.
you got to be careful when you say, well, they beat so and so and so and so beat so and so, so we're better than so and so.
Yeah, that gets you in trouble.
You can't. That gets you in trouble. You got to do it on the field. But Buckingham, I've kind of been on their bandwagon
You
all
have,
year. I know
you have.
I've been picking with them. You always kept telling me you didn't see him getting out of this round and you didn't see him winning this game.
I
So
didn't. I thought they'd lose the first game to Central Woodstock. Region 2C, you've got Glenver and Gretna, 42-14. Glenver a winner over Floyd County. Gretna doubling up Radford, 14-7. Your feeling on this one here with the Highlanders and the Hawks. Brody Doyot had 8 touchdowns accounted for in the regional quarterfinals.
Gretna's playing who again now?
Glenver's playing Gretna. It's on the screen. Are you paying attention? Or are you
I
distracted
can't see
by
the screen at all. The
it
screen
wasn't.
is
It
too
wasn't
little.
some hot babe that walked by that distracted you. You got distracted by you thought someone had a pan of food, didn't you?
Yeah, I thought there was
Yeah, I knew
another-
you did. You're
some
looking
more
for food.
was coming out
He's
there.
looking for food. He thinks he's at the buffet today, Rico. Ed thinks he's at the buffet today. He thinks anybody walking around with a pan of food, it's for him. Unbelievable.
So I'm looking for is
Yeah.
the pan of food.
He's waiting for food.
And a certain sandwich
Glenver-
from a chicken joint.
No, you're not getting the chicken sandwich. It's not happening.
Glenvar, I've liked them all year.
Okay.
Gretna, I like that name, Gretna, but I would
Glenvar.
say I can even give my pick right now. I'm pretty sure I'm going with Glenvar.
Okay, and Graham's going to play Union in a rematch
it's
of a game.
Graham.
Wow,
Graham.
you're dismissing
Graham.
the Union
Graham.
Bears like that.
Union, I love you dearly, but the Union will be over. It is Graham.
You are not making friends with the Confederates.
There's
or
nobody
the-
here from the Union.
You're not making friends in Big Stone Gap, Virginia. Remember, they lost to them back on September 20th. It was a close ball game, Edward. It was 7-6. I will go out on a limb and say there'll be more points scored in this rematch. How
I
about
hope
that?
so. I hope so.
I know you do
I
because
like
you
points.
love points. You
I
love
want the
points. You
But
love your points.
Graham is they're cracking people.
They
Graham
are.
is get it? Graham cracking.
I gotcha.
Graham cracking.
That was a very bad, not so punny by you. Very bad, not so punny. Let's go to Class 1. Rappahannock's playing Essex. Remember, Rappahannock got that first win.
Look at the points in that game. Both these teams in their last yesterday. Look at the points they scored.
First win in an awful long time over Essex, 50-14. How about Essex in 2 playoff games? They've outscored the opposition 136 to donut.
That's amazing.
And they want another crack at Rappahannock because they dominated them for years, but then lost the regular season game.
Yeah, I don't.
You
That's a
don't see
lot
it.
of points.
Yeah.
Essex. How do you go against Essex?
Right now, it's hard to do so.
But Rappahannock can put points on the board too. Could this be a 50 to something game?
No. I think Essex's defense is now hit a new level. I think this will be a lower scoring game, but you can pick that and be dead wrong. It's like you generally tend to be. Alta Vista, Buffalo Gap. Alta Vista, we've got number 1 in the state on VirginiaPreps.com in Class 1. We had him number 2 to begin the season. Had the narrow escape with Lunenburg, who gave Pocosin a battle last night. Now they take on Buffalo Gap, who you picked against. As you took Brunswick, the Bulldog, you thought it was Brian Stitton, the basketball team with his sons BJ and Brandon. Well, Buffalo Gap puts up 65 on the board. Do they have the offensive juice to give the Colonels some trouble? Alta Vista, the alma mater of one Juan Thornhill, who's played in the NFL and still plays in the NFL.
Alta Vista has been kind of above everybody all year long. And they've been in this path before.
They have.
So I wouldn't say not leaning. I would say I'm picking Alta Vista to go all the way into the championship game. Then I got to see who they're playing.
Now they see Essex. They lost to them last year, 16-8 in the state semi. So that could be a revenge situation there. And they do have the higher power rating this year, if I'm not mistaken. So they would host that state semifinal game. Let's go to 1C and 1D as we wrap it up here. Our playoff review here. Bath County. They've put up 91 points in 2 wins. Narrows in Fort Shiz. They get a much stronger opponent in Grayson County here. Grayson slips by George Wythe, and it's an 18-16 win there. What do you think, Bath County, Grayson County? Do you give either of these two teams a serious shot to win the state championship? I sadly don't feel that the winner of this is going to hoist the trophy. What about you? In terms of the state championship trophy.
No, I think this game itself is going to be a close one. Hard to pick right now.
Yeah.
But I don't see either one coming out with a state championship.
I'm the same way.
I mean, I know you got to take care of business on the field, but no, I don't see either one of them as a state winner.
Now, I do think the winner of this game has a real shot, especially Rye Cove, who beat Eastside earlier this season. They put up 61 in the second round on Grundy. They put up 55 in the first round, and Rye Cove played Eastside, and it was not that close of a ball game when they met back in the regular season. Gary Collier's team winning by a count of 40-8 on October the 11th. And what you would love about Coach Collier, Ed, is he was 5 for 5, a perfect 5 for 5 on 2-point conversions. I wanted him buying my lotto tickets.
Yeah, that's going for 2 is always risky business. And if you're 5 for 5, then that's more automatic than maybe he believes in his kicker. And then high school kickers are not quite as on par with the college and the pro-type kickers that we're seeing this year at the next level. Guys are making 60-yard field goals look like nothing. High school, I don't know if that's really still true. Legs are not as strong. But Ryan Cove, it's a team I really haven't invested in much this year. That would be a game that I have to look a little deeper into.
They beat them 40-8 though. With
Eastside. That pretty much tells.
Hard to see that.
When I see scores like that, it's hard to go against that team
in the rematch.
In the rematch, because people will say, well, it's harder to beat a team in basketball. There's the old adage, it's hard to beat a team 3 times. I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
If the first 2 games were extremely close and you won both, yes, the third one could be a problem. But if you have 2 blowouts, why can't you blow them out the third time? I don't want to hear that. Football, you don't play each other 3 times in a season for the most part. So it's like, okay, now you're going to play them the second time. If that first game was close and that team that lost made the right adjustments, then I could see them winning. But if it's a 40-8 game, even if they make the adjustments, okay, they might win now 27-20. So I tend to go with the team that blows out somebody in a meeting of that season. When you look at it the year before when they played, kids have gone from that roster. There were other kids that maybe were more important, whatever, could be a coaching change. So I look at what happened now as to try to decide what can happen in the future.
Great trivia question for you, and maybe if Jack and Ethan are listening or care here, how many of the 24 region championship games that we have coming up next weekend are rematches, not of last year, but how many of the 24 games are rematches of regular season games that took place this year? Of the 24.
For the 24 regional championships.
Yeah, how many of the 24?
Those teams played
so we
each
got
other
6
in the regular
classifications.
season.
We have 6 classifications, right. We have 6 classifications, and we have 4 region championships per division. So if you do the math, 6 times 4 is 24. That's how you get to that number. How many are rematches?
Off the top of my head, just to take a wild guess, I'm going to go 9.
You're going to go 9.
Am I over or under?
All right, Jack. Ed says there's 9 rematches of 24 region championship games from regular season games. What's your guess? What's your guess? How many of the 24 are rematches? He's going to go with 5. All right, Ethan, split the difference. 24 region championship games. How many rematches from regular season? Jack goes 5, Ed goes 9. Why don't you be the Price is Right? Get it on the nose. You don't even know. You don't know what we're talking
Pick a
about.
number, Ethan. Just pick a number.
Pick a number 1 to 24.
You can win $20. You can win $100. Come on.
Yep. 11. All right, not a bad guess. The answer is actually 7. 7. No, they split.
Well, wait a minute. What's the
5.
rule? You can't go over. I would
go
win.
over.
I went over.
Yeah, rock, paper, scissors. He wants to play paper, scissors.
I'm going to give it to him because I went over. You can't, and the Price is Right. You can't go over, correct? So I'm going to give it to Jack.
Okay, you
Jack,
over. You busted.
You earned another.
I was trying to get you go in the middle, even. You would have hit it on the nose and would have been the winner. I was trying.
Ethan's got too much on his mind.
Yeah.
Okay. Ethan's running the cameras? What's he?
Yeah, he's a camera operator.
He's got to get the right shots.
Yep.
He's got to think about, does he get the mascot in there?
Pray to God that you're muted in his right ear.
He's got to be careful when he does the cheerleader shots because if he gets the wrong shot of the cheerleaders, it could be disastrous for his career, and it could also be good for his career. So it's tough. So Ethan's got a lot on his mind, so I'm not getting on him about
as we go to break, and Jack's highly interested right now in this UVA SMU game. I said to somebody this week, and I'll see if Jack agrees or not. This is the biggest game of Tony Elliott's tenure. You say why? Because if you win this game today, you become bowl eligible. If Virginia Tech comes in at 5-6, which is possible, you can spoil the party for them. I know the Tech game is what everybody looks forward to, but if you beat SMU, you can knock them out of ACC championship contention. This would be a top 25 win. It would be
a big win,
ginormous for UVA.
It'd be big.
I don't think you're going to win the game though, sadly, but
yeah, I don't either.
7-0 SMU. So
7-0.
But I think this is the biggest game of Tony Elliott's coaching career to date today. And you might say next week's bigger against Tech.
Well, Tech,
but I think today's the bigger game. But if you're going to have a shot to beat Tech in my eyes and become bowl eligible and have some momentum going into a bowl next year, you beat a top 25 outfit today, keep them from the ACC championship, and then you have a chance to spoil Virginia Tech's party next week. So today is essential. Like you say, you can't look ahead to today, to next week.
Right.
Big Rob, you can't. Today is what matters.
Right.
It's what matters, sir. Don't go against your old theory.
That's what I'm saying, though. This today,
Mr.
them
Young
beating SMU is a bigger win than them beating Virginia Tech next week.
That's part of my point. Absolutely.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I agree, too.
What you're saying. No, it's absolutely a bigger win. SMU's top 25 program. No, don't shake your head. No. Virginia Tech is not ranked. SMU is trying to play for the ACC championship. I don't care about the hatred. It's a bigger game today.
Yeah, the rivalry thing you put aside. We're saying what's a bigger win.
No question.
You got SMU. It's rated. SMU's in the top
question.
In the top 12
They're
playoff
going to be a
rankings.
playoff potentially. They can play the ACC championship. Then Miami, Clemson are still kind of
Virginia Tech is wobbling to the end of the year. So,
by the way, those 24 schools, the 7 rematches are Patriot, Colonial Forge. You've got Green Run, Salem, Phoebus, Hampton, William Byrd, Lord Botetourt, Graham Union, Essex, Rappahannock, and Rye Cove, Eastside. And I'm going to tell you right now, of the 7, I think we'll get possibly 2 different outcomes this go round. How about that?
I need for you to do my homework for me. Give me who beat who.
Oh, because I'm going to
need it before my picks.
Colonial Forge beat Patriot. Green Run beat Salem. Phoebus beat Hampton. Lord Botetourt beat William Byrd. Graham beat Union. Rappahannock beat Essex, and Rye Cove beat Eastside. So there you have it.
Essex going to beat Rappahannock. So
well, that's one. I said I think there'll be at least one more. I'm not sure which of those other 6 will be the one that. Let us know on CoVA Sports TV, on our YouTube channel, in our comments, IG, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you may be tuning in, X. Let us know what you think will be a different outcome this go round in the rematches of the 24 region finals. And we haven't set the region final yet in 4B as Denver plays King George today. We'll see what happens in that one. All right, Ed, we're ready for a timeout. And we've got the NFL picks when we return. Have you done your homework? Have you done your digging? Have you done your research?
I'm going to do that during the break.
You're going to do that during the break. Okay. So when we come back, we'll do the picks for week number 12 in the league where they play for pay. And ladies and gents, you'll see it on the screen now. The week 11 picks tally was just not pleasant. Look at this. Look at this, folks. Ed Young goes 3-0. How sad and disgusting is that?
How's it not good? I went 3-0.
Disgusting. It's sad.
Tremendous.
If it wasn't for the Buffalo Bills saving America and beating the Chiefs, saving us from the whole Taylor Swift, Gaga, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, I'd have been 0 for 3.
I'm glad I didn't pick that because I had Kansas City winning.
Yeah, I took the Bills of my only win, 1 and 2 for me. I would tell you what Bruce got right and the 2 he got wrong, except I don't have my notebook with me. I sadly did not bring it. But we will tell you who Bruce is picking when we come back, and then our 3 selections. He gets to go first, unfortunately, and I will follow it up. Anybody's got any advice out there what I should do for picks, let me know. Maybe I will maybe I'll pick against your Las Vegas Raiders. Oh, wait, I can't. They're on a bye week, aren't they? I think they
Raiders
are.
won't lose this week then, right?
I think they're on a bye week. They're on your idle teams. The ones that are not playing this week are the – no, they're playing this week. I take that back. They are not idle. They are playing. They're playing the Broncos. They're playing the Broncos. The Falcons, Bills, Bengals, Jags, Saints, and Jets are your idle teams. So we'll come back with the NFL selections in the league where they play for pay. But let's now get a quick word from those that make it possible for us to do this with you each and every week here on CoVA Sports TV 757 Saturday Sports Talk. And that includes One Life Fitness. Stay tuned.
What is more? Is it more reps, more strength, more stamina? We say it's all of that, but it's greater than just what's in the mirror. It's about improving your mental and physical health. More is a feeling of achievement, fulfillment, confidence. It's looking better, feeling better, being better. And it's our mission to get you there, because here you are more. One Life Fitness.
At CHKD, sports medicine is more than just treating injuries. It's a whole team approach to caring for young athletes. With experienced physicians, surgeons, trainers, and rehab specialists here when kids and teens need them most. Our experts help young athletes prevent injuries too, with advanced training and conditioning programs that keep them in the game safely. CHKD Sports Medicine, where kids are more than patients and we're more than a hospital.
You're good.
What makes a life a good one? Is it our adventures? Or the friends we find along the way? Is it the challenges we conquer together? Maybe it's the people's lives we touch every single day. So, what makes a life a good one? You'll have to figure that one out for yourself.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. You need John Maynard. PFP, LUTCF, EA, all those initials behind his name mean he's qualified to work on your taxes. He's an ATA, accredited tax advisor. He's an ATP, accredited tax preparer. He's a fellow at NTPI, the National Tax Practice Institute. And if all that weren't enough, he's also been voted the best of Norfolk and the best of Virginia Beach awards. John Maynard has been professionally trained in tax preparation and representation. He brings to the table over 30 years' experience in federal and state returns. He delivers personalized, one-on-one service, and he's a certified electronic filer. The IRS likes electronic filers. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service, 455-6763.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
It's 757 Saturday Sports Talk live from the Virginia Beach Sportsplex, CoVA Sports TV. Come on out. We've got the Neptune Bowl coming up at 2 o'clock Eastern. He is the coach, Ed Young. I'm Matt Hatfield, and you better watch out. You better not pout. Better not pout. I'm telling you why. Guess who's coming to town?
Yeah,
look who's here. We've got Santa Claus. Santa's in the house.
Nobody else has gotten Santa Claus on any of their shows.
He knows if you've been sleeping. He knows.
Now, Santa, I got to ask you.
Mrs. Claus is here as well. Look at this.
She got to check this dude out because he's in everybody's house.
Wow.
Okay? So, and sometimes he's not. He's doing a little bit more delivering packages. So, I'm just saying it what it is.
Wow.
Santa Claus, I've been a great person all year round.
Give him coal, please.
I need to know what's my possibilities of what I can get. Knowing I'm a good dude.
No.
I'm a big sports enthusiast. What do you think I can see under my tree this year?
Well, I've done a lot of thinking and watching the list, and this is what you get.
Oh, candy cane. I love it. There you go. Oh, thank you.
Now,
I appreciate
if you
that.
know what he's done, you wouldn't give him nothing.
Oh, that's not true.
Oh, he's
a prediction on what? On the Apprentice School?
No, I'm not
No
gonna
prediction.
weigh in
Yeah.
for the side, but I would tell you
Yeah.
it will be a great game.
Great
Having
game.
the Sportsplex weather is perfect for football. So anybody out there that's thinking about it, come on down and
Awesome.
watch the game.
And all the little ones out there watching, any
Yep,
word for
all
them?
Little ones out there.
and
Remember, Christmas is coming up. So be
Santa,
sure to listen.
slide
right.
a little bit to your
That's
right,
right.
so
Uh-oh.
Mrs. Claus can get a
There
get
we
a
go.
wave in there.
Mrs. Claus gets a wave
because
in.
she gets none of the glory. She does all the work. You get all the glory for one night of going all across the world.
He's sucking up to try to get more on his list. That's what he's doing. That's
Oh,
exactly what he's doing.
I've done a good job this year. I know
Yeah.
I'm going to get some more in that. So
I gave you the candy canes, but
Thank you.
there will be something else under your tree.
Oh, that's awesome. I like it.
hey,
Thank you.
Hey, 36, 24, 36. I'm okay. Okay,
Oh,
I'm
wow. Look at him. Unbelievable.
All right.
We appreciate Santa and Mrs. Claus for
Mrs.
stopping
Claus,
by.
too,
I
they
told
came
you,
by.
we get special guests on the show.
Yeah, there's
you never
nobody
know what's
out
gonna
there.
happen.
And don't try to
Yeah. We got
do what
Santa
we
and
done.
Mrs. Claus.
We got Santa before Santa comes
We
into
got
vogue.
Santa Claus. How about
Yep.
that? Didn't you have to go to the mall and sit on his lap?
No, yeah, I'm not sitting on Santa's lap. That's
Yeah,
creepy.
you'd crush it.
Yeah,
you'd crush
no,
it.
you. The problem is you've been sitting on Santa's lap in the middle of July, so that just don't look right.
No. I you know what I'm doing in the middle of July, folks? You know what I'm doing in the middle of July?
You should get. Santa
I'm
to
doing
come to
this.
pool
I'm doing this, and
What do you call a cold dog? A chili dog. Matter of fact, I could eat one of those chili dogs here in July. Sounds good right about now.
well, it's not July now. It's November, getting closer to December. But yeah, that's what I'm doing in July. I'm not sitting on any laps. I'm in the pool. That's what I'm doing. Time now for the NFL picks in the league where they play for pay, Sir Edward, as we now fire up the music and get it rolling for all of you out there. NFL football action coming up. We showed you the picks from last week in terms of the records. Sadly, Ed Young was 3-0. Nobody's happy about that except him and his relatives, all six of them.
Nope. I got people on chatting in right now saying, "Way to go, coach! Way to go! Thank you."
Where are
Thank
they?
you.
I don't see them. They're not
Give them
commenting.
time to type it down.
Yeah,
Yeah, see, I
Jack's
got
yelling.
people out here
You got
yelling
Jack
it.
yelling. He's the lone ranger for you.
Santa Claus is in my in
He's
my
in your
corner.
corner. I'm surprised he said you're going to get something under the tree. I mean, who is? I mean, anybody got to be out there stunned to hear that. That was just shocking. By the way, there's the updated tally for the season. And Jack, this is even worse. The only person above 500 now is Ed Young at 17-16. For the first time in your life, you're over 500. I shouldn't say that. You got over 500 coaching records.
And the picks, I mean, in the high school playoffs, the two of the last 3 years, who's won? Thank you very much.
You're not welcome very much. You're not winning this year, though. You're down.
Down one.
Bruce is 15-18, and I am a miserable, egregious, regrettable 12-20-1. But you know what? I can live with that as long as the Buffalo Bills took down the Kansas City Chiefs. Way to go there, my man EJ Manuel. You don't play anymore. Josh Allen does. They got it done against KC last week. So let's get to the picks now for week number 12. As Bruce is up here first, Ed, and here are his selections for this week. We see him on the screen. He's going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers minus the 5.5. He's going to go with the Detroit Lions minus the 7.5, and the Kansas City Chiefs minus the 10.5. Your reaction to those?
I think he took one of mine for sure. I get a little nervous when you give double-digit points to somebody, but when you're playing Kansas City, you need all the breaks you can, and when you're Carolina, you need more than double digits to take that down. I don't see Carolina giving Kansas City a battle at all in any shape or form.
Okay. Now you are up for the first selection between us and the head-to-head picks here. Where are you going for pick number one? And you like to copy Bruce. I just hope and pray to goodness you do not, on your first pick, copy the one that I have circled. And I told Bruce this in our message exchange this morning. I've been liking all week long. But let's see where you go for the first one.
Well, it's not a lot of great games.
It's not. It's an underwhelming week compared to last week. You had the juice with the Commanders, Eagles, the Ravens, Steelers, the Bills, Chiefs. You had all the spice for those games last week. It's a little bit of a letdown week.
And see, when you have a week like this, you can think it's easy to pick. Just go with the favorites. But it can also be a week where you want to go with those that are not favored. Depends on how many points they're given. I'm going to start with the Harbaugh Bowl.
Oh, you're going there.
I'm a little surprised the Ravens are only 2.5 favorite. So I'm going to go. I think Baltimore could win this by at least a field goal, if not a touchdown. I'm going to go
I'm with
Baltimore.
you. Actually, that's a good pick by you. Nice job there, Edward. Ravens minus the 2.5 on the road against Jim as John Harbaugh tries to get the W against the older bro, right? Is he older or is he younger brother? Which one's older between the two? I'm not sure.
Jim Harbaugh, I think, is Jackie. Got to look that up. I think Jim Harbaugh's
older between John and Jim. I think Jim is right. So I think that's older, bro. But so that's your first pick, which is good because I'm going to copy Bruce on my first pick. It's one I loved all week long. We both went 1 and 2, so I'm allowed to do that. If he had a better record than me last week, I would say I'm not going to copy him. But it's the first time I've copied Bruce all year. You've copied him like 17 times.
No,
which is why the only reason
John
is older. Wow, by 2 years. So we were wrong.
Okay, we're wrong.
62 for John Harbaugh, 60 for Jim. Good job there by Mr. Lowe looking it up for us. All right, here we go. I'm going to take, like I said, I'm copying Bruce for the first time this year. I'm going Tampa Bay minus the 5.5. Why? Because Tommy Cutlets is out there. And Tommy DeVito is not going to play well this week. He will save it for Thanksgiving Day against America's dream, not team. But he'll get smashed this game. By the way, guess who comes back for the Bucs? Mike Evans to help out Baker Mayfield, who's had a really good year statistically. I think the Bucs slaughter the Giants. This game could be played in Tampa, New York, on the moon. It is on the road at the Giants, but give me the Bucs 26-10. They win it with ease. That's pick number 1. Pick number 2 for me, I looked hard at the Dolphins. I'm not going to go there. The hook bothers me at 7.5. I could get a bad beat, and I've had a few of those this year, to say the least. I'm looking hard at that AFC South battle between two teams, one that's going to the playoffs, one that has no chance to go into the playoffs. I'm not going to go there. Even looked at the Commanders with their game with Dallas. I'm not going to go there. I like the Chiefs like Bruce does, but I'm not going to copy him for 2 selections as opposed to just 1 here. So where do I go for the second one? Well, tell you what, I look at this, and I think the number's a little high, a little bit inflated. 48.5 is a lot of points for Eagles and Rams. I don't know that they'll both be two-dimensional in this game. I'm going to go under the 48.5 of Rams and Eagles. I actually think the Rams can pull the upset in this spot, but I think it's just a little bit too much in terms of the points. I know they both have good quarterback play, the receivers with Puka Nacua, and you also have Cooper Kupp. But ultimately, to me, I do not think this gets to 49 or above in this matchup with the Rams and the Eagles. So, thus, I will take the under, as the wind is picking up even more here in this one. And by the way, A.J. Brown got hurt the last time out. Has he been ruled out for this game? I'm not sure if he's playing. And if he does play, I don't think he's going to play. If he does play, he could be certainly limited. So give me the under 48.5 for pick number 2. You have the floor for the next 2.
Okay. I was looking hard. That Tampa Bay Giant game, DeVito, no. That I thought maybe New York would get at least 7.5. Again, 5.5. But I'm not going to take that because you copied Bruce. I won't do it. Give me, since there's some disarray in Chicagoland, give me the Vikings.
I knew you were going there. I tried to save it.
3.5.
Took it. You dirty dog.
Give me the Vikes.
You steal it from Nick, his Vikes, okay?
Give me that one.
In Chicago, which has been sputtering ever since the Hail Mary with Noah Brown and Jaden Daniels on that connection.
And the other one I'm going to take, and this was the last, I tried to debate between your Cardinals, who made me look good this year when I pick them.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're going to win this week. I think
don't
Seattle
either.
Gets them.
I think so, too.
That 1.5, it looks good. So I'm going to leave it for you. But this one's going out more on the line because they got guys getting injured by the second. And they're playing a good team. I'm going with the Packers, minus 5.5.
Wow.
Over the 49ers. Now, Purdy out, Bosa out. Watch 49ers play the best game of the year. Watch it happen.
Don't see it happening.
But I really don't. I just don't see it. And again, I think I'm going Packers, minus 5.5.
My candy cane's broken. Can I get another one from Mr. Claus, or did he leave?
He's gone. He's got kitties to take care of. He can't be messing with you.
Okay, well, broken candy cane. My picks have been broken all year long. He's probably going to go 3-0 this week. I'm going to go, even though I root for the Cardinals, and I've got all the decorations. By the way, who stole my red glove? Anybody stole my red glove? No, I still got the red glove. I got black and red to rep my Cardinals.
And remember, I gave you this game because you're probably going to win it.
Yep.
And I took this other one, so now I'm going to
So what am I taking in this game? What's the spread?
You're going to take Seattle, plus 1.5.
I am. You're right. What a dope I am, right? I'm rocking the Cardinals gear, and I'm going Seattle minus the 1.5. Now, Geno Smith was good last week, and he tends to go from one week to the next, good to bad, bad to good. So maybe, good things happen for my team, and we'll remain in first place in the NFC West. But it's in Seattle. I don't feel good about it. It's probably going to be a shootout game. The over was enticing, but I'll go with Seattle. And they are actually getting 1.5 now, plus the 1.5. So to recap, picks for us in the NFL for week number 12. Ed's got Ravens minus the 2.5. He's got the Packers minus the 5.5 and the Vikings minus 3.5. So 2 NFC North teams and an AFC North team. Bruce Pearl's got the Bucks laying 5.5 at the Giants. So do I. Lions minus 7.5 and the Chiefs minus 10.5. The 2 top seeds in the NFC and AFC respectively there. And I've got to go with the Bucks pick like Bruce. Under 48.5, Rams and Eagles, and Seattle plus 1.5. A couple of games to keep an eye on in the late window. I did think about, believe it or not, the Raiders to spring the upset in that division, a la the Browns beating the Steelers' familiarity. The game's at home. They're due to win eventually. But I couldn't. Bo Nix is playing too hot right now, and the Raiders are too
I just can't trust my Raiders. I want to pick against them with the old adage, pick against them so they'll win. Then I win either way. But I've lost faith in the Raiders doing much more this year. Stay low, get a high draft pick, see what happens.
Any final thoughts as we sign off here? We got the Neptune Bowl coming up at 2 o'clock Eastern. There's college basketball in full swing. You're at Old Dominion this week. Thanksgiving coming up. College basketball last night with Duke, Arizona. Some college football today. Your Irish taking on Army today. Any final thoughts as we bid adieu to the audience out there?
It's a lot of good stuff coming up there. I think you're looking at Notre Dame taking down Army.
That's going out on a limb, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going out on a limb. Army will now lose because there's been speculation. They're not even ranked up there. Nobody's even talking about being in and you know me, I'm on the bandwagon that when you set these playoffs up, the conference winners, I don't care how bad the conference is, the conference champion should be among the 12 teams in. You don't like it? Then let's add 4 more teams, make it 16. I ain't got a problem with that. If you're doing it only to include the conference champions from the Sun Belt, Atlantic Sun, American Conference. If you're doing it to put the 4th place,
Atlantic Sun,
whatever conference it is,
AAC, American Athletic Conference.
Okay, if you're doing it to put the 4th place SEC and the 4th place Big Ten team in, no, I don't want to hear about strength of schedule. When you're like Indiana, they're undefeated.
I hate to break it to you.
If Indiana loses today, watch how far they drop. Okay.
No, I actually think what the committee wants is they want 4 SEC, 4 Big Ten, an ACC champ, preferably Miami, a Big 12 champ, preferably Colorado and Dion. They can have their little Lane Kiffin-Dion first-round matchup, would have some spice. And then your at-large is your group of 5, which would be your Boise, and your at-large is your Notre Dame. That's what they want in a perfect world. And by the way, the geography of this is fascinating to me. You could have some of these SEC schools like your Bama on the projections going to Notre Dame, South Bend in December, cold weather. You could have an Ole Miss going on the road to an Indiana in the cold. You could have a Georgia or a fill in the blank, maybe not Texas, so they should get a bye. I think Texas will. But you could have one of those teams going to another Big Ten school in the cold, like Ohio State. So you have some, BYU might be going there if they win the Big 12. But you could have some different matchups that are, I think, enticing for the. I think playoff is good. 8 would have been better than 12, but
they are. But as a realist, okay, I'm going to separate myself from being a realist coach / fan.
Yeah.
As a coach / realist, if you win your conference, I don't care how bad your conference
Nobody
is.
wants to see 7 and 5
It doesn't
Bowling
matter
Green.
what people want to see. It's you're rewarding. When you're talking about a championship, you're rewarding champions to play for the ultimate championship.
Why?
Because why do you have conference play then if they can't win it?
To go play a bowl game.
You're going to try to tell me
they were never in the playoff before. Why we put them in now?
You're telling me I can use Boise State, but they're already up there. MAC conference champion. Okay,
That's what I just said. Bowling Green.
Okay, Bowling Green.
Or take Arkansas State.
Of course, as a fan, I'm saying I'd rather see Vanderbilt in the playoffs over Bowling Green. Of course, but if they're the MAC champion, now people are going to say they don't play nobody. Okay, so they're supposed to go on the road and play Alabama, Ohio State, Oregon, and not only go on the road and
some of them do out of conference.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Because what it comes down to is if you're in the SEC, why would you play strong out of conference teams? The SEC is going to test you anyways. And if you finish with 2 or 3 losses, you're going to be in the playoffs regardless. That's just the way it's set up right now.
Right. It's SEC and Big Ten eat everybody
You
else.
don't reward a fourth-place team or even a third-place team over a conference champion.
Yes, you do if they're better.
I don't care what
Yes, you
the
do.
ratings are. You don't do that.
Yes, you
give
do.
a champion
No, you don't.
an opportunity to go for
What
championship.
world are you living in?
If they get blown out, they get blown out. But
well, they will get blown out in your circumstance.
They can't. So what?
It's a television show. They don't care
Right, I
about
understand
Louisiana's
it's about
raging
money.
Cajuns,
Right. So
as
what you
opposed
got
to
to
Lane
do
Kiffin
is
and Ole Miss.
put the entire world in the Big Ten, the SEC,
yes,
and Atlantic Coast. I only have 3
No,
conferences.
ACC's on their level. It's Big Ten and it's SEC.
Right,
ACC
technically.
and Big 12 are beneath them.
They're beneath them. I get
Right.
that. But take everybody from them smaller conferences and put them in with the big boys, and now let's see what they do. So now Bowling Green finishes 5th. Okay, I shut my mouth because you're not good enough with the big boys, so you're 5th. But when you're an outstanding champion of your conference and you're not invited to the championship,
Go play in the Chips Ahoy Bowl. Go play in the
no,
Chips
that's
Ahoy
what
Bowl.
I'm saying. We can't do that.
We can revisit this conversation another time, but we have to sign off.
I'm right. We're going to sign off with me being right. Everybody agrees with me. Look at the
They
chat
don't
line.
agree with you. That's why nobody's taking your side.
Let's go get ready to
They
call
think
some
you're
football.
nuts. We'll talk to you coming up at 2 o'clock on CoVA Sports TV. The Neptune Bowl is coming your way. Have a great sports weekend, everyone, and we'll talk to you again as we get closer and closer to the state playoffs in December. The last Saturday in November comes your way next week, but we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.